Chapter 1933. Oh, yes, I have some news about Chiu. How is that little girl? Lin Xian asked. Chiu. I was naturally Xinjing Chiu, Lin Xian's woman. Moreover, Murong Qingqing had already accepted Xin Jingqiu's existence completely. The two of them were even close, like sisters. Chiu is very special. She has already become the Zixia saintess. Let me tell you, Chiu's bloodline is the born Taoism body. That's a very terrifying bloodline. When he heard this, Lin Xian was shocked. The born Taoism body, as well as the saint and divine bodies of the clan of ancients, were all very terrifying. He did not expect Chiu to have such a heaven-defying body. Not to mention Chiu, even Murong Qingqing's body was frightening. It was the legendary phoenix body. Lin Xian felt a wave of pressure. His two wives were too outstanding. Although he was very talented, he did not have a special body constitution or bloodline. However, he would not be discouraged. With the great dragon sword soul in his body, Lin Xian had absolute confidence that he would not lose to anyone. Even if it was a divine body or a saint body, he would not be afraid. Just as the two of them were talking in the house, a few figures walked in from outside. One of them was a very eye-catching young man. His long purple hair fluttered in the wind, and he had an indescribable evil aura about him. His eyes were also glowing with a deep purple light, like a purple gemstone. This young man was very confident. He was like a god of war as he walked in slowly. There was a purple patch on his thumb, and he was playing with it non-stop at the moment. The purple-haired young man walked quickly towards the bamboo house. Stop right there. Who are you? This is the shop of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground. Outsiders should leave immediately. When the little maidservant saw the purple-haired young man walk over, she immediately stood out and said coldly. The purple-haired young man also stopped in his tracks. He was like a real immortal, and his body was surrounded by purple light. I am the #1 genius of the Tuoba family, Tuoba Tianci. I have something to discuss with the Jade Lake Saintess, the purple-haired young man said. What? Tuoba Tianci? Hearing this, old man Dugu was extremely shocked. This was the #1 genius of the Tuoba family. He was much stronger than Tuoba Tianfeng. Who would have thought that he would actually come now? Humph! The crimson dragon snorted and looked at Tuoba Tianci unkindly. The little maid, Shuang, appeared to be very indifferent. After all, she followed Murong Qingqing and often saw either saintesses or holy sons. Therefore, she didn't really care about the #1 genius of the Tuoba family. Therefore, she said coldly, go back. My young miss is busy now and won't see you. Is something the matter? Hearing this, Tuoba Tianci frowned. From the looks of it, he was not allowed to enter. His expression immediately turned ugly. As the #1 genius of the Tuoba family, he believed that he was not inferior to those saints and saintesses. Now, he hadn't even seen Murong Qingqing's face. How could he be willing to go back? Suddenly he frowned and said coldly, I really have something to discuss with the Jade Lake Saintess. Our young miss really doesn't have time to see you. The little maid snorted. Even the Thousand Thunders saint was chased away by her, not to mention Tuoba Tianci in front of her. I'm here to apologize. Previously, a few warriors of the Tuoba family unintentionally offended the saintess. This time, I'm here with sincerity. I hope you won't stop me. Tuoba Tianci said in a low voice. Although he was dissatisfied with the little maid in front of him, he still didn't want to do anything. After all, he knew the strength of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground. However, the little maid, Shuang, shook her head and said, Go back. Our young miss really won't see you. Humph! Tuoba Tianci snorted, and his expression was unusually cold. A little maid dared to treat him like this. She really didn't know what was good for her. The next moment he stepped forward, and a purple light appeared around his body and circled around him. It was as if the purple deity had descended. At the same time, a huge force emerged and filled the sky. It seemed to form a purple mountain that was so oppressive that it was difficult to breathe. Feeling the surging force, the little maid, Er's face tightened. How dare you fight here? Do you know where you are and who our young miss is? The other party was too arrogant. Even the myriad Thunder Sage didn't dare to fight here. But Tuoba Tianzi dared to. He really didn't know what was good for him. Damn, you dare to fight here? You're revolting. The Crimson Dragon was also angry. His body swayed, and the fiery red light on his body soared into the sky. A terrifying flame aura filled the air. At the same time, Old Monster dug aside, but he also made a move. His aura gushed out. This was not only the Jade Lake's territory, but also Lin Xian. Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing finally met. At this moment, the two must have a lot to talk about. How could they allow others to disturb them? Therefore, in the next moment, the Crimson Dragon stood out. His aura was like the sea, blocking the purple mountain in the sky. Old Monster Dugu was like a demon king. Thank you. The little girl, looked at the Crimson Dragon and Old Monster Dugu gratefully. She now felt that compared to the disciples of the aristocratic families, Lin Xian and the other two were more adorable. A beast dares to block the way. You're courting death. Tuoba Tianzi looked at the Crimson Dragon in front of him and sneered. You're the beast. Your whole family are beasts. The Crimson Dragon was angry. He was a divine dragon. Now that he was called a beast, he naturally couldn't stand it. Suddenly, the fiery red flames on his body turned into a crimson dragon and rushed forward. Boom! The crimson fire dragon collided with the purple mountain, shaking heaven and earth. The terrifying scene attracted the attention of the surrounding people. Suddenly, a huge pressure appeared in the sky. That pressure belonged to a mighty figure. Who dares to fight in the dragon transformation lake? A terrifying aura came with a biting, cold, killing intent. It was about to turn into a purple divine sword and fall from the sky. Buzz! Tuoba Tianzi's face changed drastically. He didn't expect a mighty figure to come out so soon. The Crimson Dragon snorted. So what if a mighty figure came? He waved his flames and hit forward, forcing Tuoba Tianzi to retreat and leaving a burn mark on his body. You're courting death. Tuoba Tianzi was furious. How dare the other party hurt him? He was going to attack. Humph! At this moment, the killing intent in the sky became even sharper. It was as if it had materialized. It was unbearable. Senior, please wait. Seeing this, Murong Qingqing's voice came from the bamboo house. Then her body swayed and appeared in the void like a fairy. Senior, this is my friend. There's a misunderstanding, Murong Qingqing said to the void quickly. Chapter 1934. Since you're friends of the Jade Lake Saint, I'll let you go this time. But if there's a next time, I'll kill you. The cold voice disappeared in the sky. The purple divine sword also disappeared. The terrifying killing intent melted like snow. Seeing this, Old Monster Dugu and Shuang heaved a sigh of relief. The scene just now had scared them to death. They did not have the ability to resist the aura of such a powerful figure. On the other side, Tuoba Tianzi's face turned ugly. He did not expect that the other party would really dare to attack and attract the attention of a powerful figure. Fortunately, the Jade Lake Saint came out in the end. Otherwise, he would have been killed here. Thinking of this, he looked at the Crimson Dragon angrily. The Crimson Dragon snorted. So what if a powerful figure was attracted? He was not an ordinary person. When the powerful figure attacked, he would have a way to escape. Therefore, he was not afraid. The next moment, the Crimson Dragon stared at Tuoba Tianzi and said coldly, "Boy, get out of here. Otherwise, Ben Huang will attack again." Lunatic. Hearing this, Tuoba Tianzi's face turned ugly. If a powerful figure was attracted again, Even the Jade Lake Saint would not be able to resist. However, he did not care about the Crimson Dragon because Morong Chingching had come out. The next moment, he looked at Morong Chingching in the sky and smiled confidently. Jade Lake Saint, you're really beautiful. It's an honor to meet you today. Who are you? Morong Chingching frowned. In a flash, she came to the front of the bamboo house. I'm Tuoba Tensi, the #1 young master of the Tuoba family. He was also the #1 seeker, spiritual master of the younger generation. Tuoba Tensi was very confident. Although the Tuoba family was not as powerful as a sacred ground, he believed that with his talent and strength, he would not be weaker than the saints of those sacred grounds. This time he came to solve the problem of the Tuoba family offending the Jade Lake sacred ground. Moreover, he also wanted to meet the Jade Lake Saint. He wanted to see if he could win her heart. After all, it was rumored that the Jade Lake Saintess was unparalleled in beauty. As a top heavens favorite of the younger generation, Taba Tianxi naturally yearned for her. However, Tuoba Tianxi was soon stunned. The reason for that was because he discovered that a handsome man had walked out from behind Morong Chingching. Moreover, the relationship between the two of them seemed to be very close. This scene made Tuoba Ting extremely uncomfortable. As an extremely talented genius, he would not allow such a thing to happen. He was also pursuing Morong Chingching, so he was mad when he saw Morong Chingching with another man. In the next moment, he stared at the handsome young man, and a cold, killing intent appeared in his eyes. This handsome young man was naturally Lin Xian. When he heard about the situation outside, he also came out. When he sensed the killing intent in Tuoba Tensi's eyes, he snorted coldly. He had yet to find trouble with the other party, and the other party actually dared to release killing intent towards him. He really didn't know what was good for him. Kid, who are you? Tuoba Tensi asked coldly. He didn't know Lin Xian, and he didn't seem to be a saint. However, how could such a person be together with Morong Chingching and be on such good terms with her? My surname is Long. You can call me Brother Long, Lin Xian said calmly. Since he was outside, he naturally had to use a smuff account. He didn't want anyone to know that he was Lin Xian. Surname Long? Hearing this, Tuoba Tensi frowned. This person actually dared to ask him to call him Brother Long. He really had a death wish. What Brother Long? I've never heard of you. Which sect are you from? You haven't even heard of me? Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back, looking unusually calm. He said calmly, Go back and ask Tuoba Tianfeng who defeated him. I think you'll know my identity soon enough. What? It's you. Hearing this, Tuoba Tianxi's face immediately darkened. How could he not know that Tuoba Tianfeng had been defeated? What was worse was that Tuoba Tianfeng had started barking like a dog, causing the Tuoba family to lose face and become a laughingstock. The person who had caused all of this was the young man in front of him. How could Tuoba Tianxi not be angry? In the next moment, a cold, murderous intent radiated from his eyes. It was so cold that it almost materialized. Kid, how dare you provoke the Tuoba family? I have to say, you really don't know what's good for you. You'd better kneel down and apologize to the Tuoba family. Otherwise, I can guarantee that you'll suffer a terrible fate. Humph. This time, before Lin Xian could speak, Morong Chingching snorted coldly. She said coldly, Tuoba Tianxi, watch your attitude. Young Master Long is my friend. Damn it. Seeing that even Morong Chingching had spoken, Tuoba Tianxi's face turned even uglier. His opponent was the Jade Lake Saint. He didn't dare to be impudent in front of her. However, he couldn't hold his anger in and was about to go crazy. Therefore, he said, Kid, do you dare to have a match with me? I'll let you know how powerful the Tuoba family's spirit-seeking technique is. Compete with you? I'm not interested. Lin Xian shook his head. He still had to spend more time with Morong Chingcheng. He wasn't interested in fighting with others. What if I use a divine crystal as a wager? Tuoba Tianci refused to give up. He waved his hand and took out a black divine crystal. It was pitch black and emitted a mysterious power. A divine crystal. Old monster Dugu, Shuang, and the others exclaimed when they saw this. They didn't expect Tuoba Tianci to be so generous as to use a divine crystal as a wager. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He was just thinking about how to find a divine crystal when Tuoba Tianci came to him. Since this was the case, how could he not want it? Therefore he nodded and said, "Since you're here to give me a divine crystal, I'll play with you." "Humph, if you want my divine crystal, let's see what you're capable of." Tuoba Tianci sneered. As long as Qin Haodong agreed to a match with him, the rest would be easy. He would let Qin Haodong know what the Tuoba family's spirit-seeking technique was. And the news of the competition between the two swept out like a gust of wind. Instantly, the entire stone gambling conference knew about it. Countless people gathered at the Tuoba house. Soon the area around the bamboo house was filled with people. "Oh my God, another stone gambling conference. I heard that the wager this time is a divine crystal. This is too much." Yeah, even the older generation of spirit-seeking masters wouldn't dare to bet like this. Are the young people nowadays so crazy? Are you kidding me? How could an ordinary young person take out such a wager? Didn't you see that purple-haired man? He's Tuoba Tianci. He's the #1 expert of the Tuoba family's younger generation. He's also the #1 spirit-seeking master of the younger generation. Chapter 1935. What? It's him? No wonder he's so generous. Obviously, everyone had heard of Tuoba Tianci's reputation. However, they were soon puzzled. Who dared to make such a bet with Tuoba Tianci? Could it be someone from the Ouyang clan or the Huangfu clan? Among the 3 seeker spiritual master clans, only the Ouyang clan and the Huangfu clan could contend with the Tuoba clan. Neither. Do you remember the mysterious young man who obtained the divine crystal? It's him. What? It's him. No wonder Tuoba Tianci made a move. The guy made Tuoba Tianfeng bark like a dog in front of everyone. That's a deep grudge. That's right. Tuoba Tianci must be here for revenge. After all, the Tuoba clan is not to be trifled with. Sounds of discussion could be heard. Obviously, they were not optimistic about Lin Xian's chances. Even though Lin Xian had obtained the divine crystal, many people thought that it was due to luck. Tuoba Tianci's reputation was too great, far surpassing Tuoba Tianfeng's. Many people even said that Tuoba Tianci was the most promising genius to become a celestial spiritual master in the past 1,000 years. More and more people gathered around. In the end, there were even almighties. This made the surrounding people even more excited. Not only were there almighties, but many people from the Ouyang and Huangfu clans were also there. Most of the Tuoba clans people were there to cheer for Tuoba Tianci. There were also talented martial artists and powerful seeker spiritual masters from the various sacred grounds who were there to watch the battle. Tuoba Tianci was quite calm when he felt the gazes of the surrounding people. He looked coldly at Lin Xian and sneered, "Kid, it's not too late to kneel down and beg for mercy. Otherwise, you'll die a horrible death. You talk too much. You'd better take care of my divine crystal. If you damage it, I won't let you off." Lin Xian said flatly, "Humph, you have a sharp tongue. I'll make you regret it." Tuoba Tianci said coldly, his eyes full of disdain. He did not believe that his opponent could beat him in the art of spirit-seeking. Lin Xian shrugged. "There's no point in talking anymore. Let's begin. Why don't we choose these stones from the Origin ancient mine?" To be honest, these stones were very mysterious. Lin Xian's hands were itching to cut a piece and take a look. However, after Tuoba Tianci heard that, he sneered disdainfully. "You really are an idiot. Do you know where these stones came from? These are stones from Origin ancient mine. Every single one of them has a sky-high price. Can you afford it? Even if you can afford it, can you understand it? Could it be that you can see clearly whether there are treasures inside? Kid, stone gambling is a competition of spirit-seeking skills, not luck. What you're doing is really laughable. How do you know I can't see clearly? Lin Xian snorted coldly. To be honest, he really wanted to use his heavenly secret divine eyes to see what was so special about the stones from Origin Ancient Mine. Because, based on his instincts, Lin Xian felt that there must be something good in these stones. Why? Don't you dare to go? Or can't afford it? Lin Xian asked in return. Humph! Tuoba Tianci snorted coldly, not bothering to answer. Because, in his opinion, Lin Xian was just bluffing. He did not believe that the other party would dare to cut these stones from Origin Ancient Mine. One had to know that as the #1 spirit-seeking master of the younger generation, he did not dare to cut these stones easily. So, he sneered and shook his head. Ridiculous. At this moment, the 2 old ladies from the Jade Lake Sacred Ground also walked over. They looked at Lin Xian and Tuoba Tianci and said in a deep voice, "Young masters, these stones from Origin Ancient Mine are indeed a little strange. You can't cut them easily. How about this? We still have a batch of good stones in our hands. They were also obtained from a vein near Origin Ancient Mine. Why don't you cut these stones, young masters?" With that, the 2 old ladies waved their embroidered robes, and more than a dozen stones appeared on the lawn in front of them. "Okay, thank you very much, Senior." Lin Xian nodded with a smile. On the other side, Tuoba Tianci's eyes lit up. Obviously, it seemed that he was also about to make a move. "Why? Are you betting on stones?" At this moment, a hearty laugh was heard. That voice was like thunder resounding in the sky. Before everyone could turn around, they saw a figure appear in front of them. It was a handsome young man. He was tall and wore a thunder robe, as if he was the son of the thunder god. He was extraordinarily handsome. The 1,000 Thunder Sage. Many people exclaimed when they saw this young man. They did not expect that the position of the 1,000 Thunder Sage would also appear. The 1,000 Thunder Sage looked at Morong Qingcheng, then said with a smile, "Fairy Morong, it's really not easy to meet you." "Hello." Morong Qingcheng was expressionless, but she still nodded slightly. Everyone was a saint and saintess, so the necessary etiquette was still necessary. The 1,000 Thunder Sage looked at Morong Qingcheng with a hint of admiration in his eyes. At this moment, Tuoba Tianci also said loudly, "Brother 1,000 Thunder, you're here too." "Brother Tianci, you're so lucky to be able to show off your skills in front of Fairy Morong," the 1,000 Thunder Sage said with a smile. It seemed that he had a good relationship with Tuoba Tianci. Everyone was shocked because these 2 young men were the top of the younger generation. At this moment, the 2 of them stood side by side, looking down at the world with disdain. Even some of the older generation felt that they were not as good as them. Ouyang Mingfei of the Ouyang family, Huangfu Qian of the Huangfu family, they're all here. Many people exclaimed when they saw a handsome man walking in front of them. His robe was whiter than snow, and he looked extremely handsome. There was a faint smile at the corner of his mouth, and his eyes were as deep as the starry sky, making people lose their sense of direction. This was Ouyang Mingfei, the genius of the Ouyang family. The other woman had a delicate appearance. She was holding a small green umbrella to block the sun. Her skin was abnormally white, and her eyes were as clear as crystal. She was Huangfu Qian, the little princess of the Huangfu family. The Tuoba family, Ouyang family, and Huangfu family were the 3 great seeker families in the eastern wilderness. At this moment, the top young geniuses of the 3 great families had appeared at the same time. It was really shocking. Not only that, but there were also a few saints and saintesses behind them. There was the Reverence, Moon Saintess, and the 1,000 Tribulation Saintess. 5 Element Saint. It could be said that many of the top young geniuses of the Eastern Wilderness had appeared here. The surrounding martial artists were really excited because they usually did not see so many geniuses. They did not even see a single one. But now, with so many people gathered together, it was really a grand occasion. Chapter 1936. Of course, there were two reasons for this. First, these people were here to see Murong Chingcheng. After all, Murong Chingcheng had just become the Jade Lake Saintess. The saints and saintesses of other sacred grounds naturally wanted to find out what was going on. Of course, there were also many young and handsome geniuses who came to express their love. Second, it was because of Tuoba Tianzi. Although the Tuoba family was not a sacred ground or a clan of ancients, their soul-seeking skill was very magical and peculiar. In some aspects, even the martial artists of sacred grounds might not be able to compete with them. Therefore, when Tuoba Tianzi showed his skills, they naturally wanted to watch. At this moment, the Crimson Dragon stepped forward and said in a clear voice, "You've come at the right time. Everyone, you've come at the right time. You can all be witnesses, lest the other party reneges on his loss. Listen up, everyone. This man from the Tuoba family wants to bet with a divine gem. At that time, when he loses, the black divine crystal in his hand will be ours. Let me make this clear in advance." The Crimson Dragon's voice spread clearly in all directions. At this moment, a young man on Tuoba Tianzi's side sneered. "Our brother Tianzi is betting with a divine gem. Shouldn't you take out a corresponding bet? Otherwise, wouldn't you be taking advantage of him?" Whoosh! Hearing this, Lin Xian smiled slightly. He flipped his palm and took out a fist-sized divine gem that seemed to be burning with golden flames. A divine gem! Many people exclaimed when they saw the divine gem. They did not expect Lin Xian to take out a divine gem so easily. Heavens, who is this guy? How can he take out a divine gem so casually? Yes, and judging from his appearance, he seems to be on good terms with the Jade Lake Saintess. Where did this guy come from? For a moment, many young and handsome geniuses were hostile to Lin Xian. As expected, the Saint Son of Myriad Thunder spoke again. He also waved his hand and took out a divine gem that was shining with red light. "Since it's a bet, I'll join in. I bet that brother Tianzi will win." He looked at Lin Xian and said in a deep voice, "Don't worry, kid. Even if I win, I won't make you pay me another divine crystal. I only need you to leave the Jade Lake Saintess from now on. Don't appear by her side." Hearing this, the crowd was in an uproar. It seemed that the rumor that the 10,000 Thunder Saint's son was in love with the Jade Lake Saintess was true. Otherwise, the 10,000 Thunder Saint's son would not take such a great risk and use the precious divine shock as a bet. After Murong Chingchen heard it, her face sank as well. She was just about to retort when Lin Xian shook his head. He then smiled and said, "Sure. However, if I win, that red divine crystal will be mine." He was too happy. 2 divine crystals had appeared all of a sudden. As long as he won, he would have 4 divine crystals in his hands. 4 deity crystals were more than enough to activate the Black Earth. Moreover, he did not plan to use the Black Earth to do anything earth-shattering. He only needed to let the Black Earth defend. 4 deity crystals are enough. Humph! The 10,000 Thunder Saint Sun snorted. Next to him, Tuoba Tianzi also said in a deep voice, "Don't worry, brother 10,000 Thunder. Trust me, that kid was just lucky. He's no match for me." "Of course I believe you." The 10,000 Thunder Saint Sun nodded and said, "The title of the #1 seeker spiritual master in the Tuoba family is not just for show. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bet an extremely precious divine crystal." "How do you want to bet?" Lin Xian asked. "I won't bully you. Let's decide the winner in one battle," Tuoba Tianzi replied with a confident look on his face. "Okay." Lin Xian nodded and then whispered to Murong Chingcheng, "Wait and see." I'll defeat them all. A smile appeared on Morong Chingching's delicate face. I believe you. Her smile made the world lose its color. Everyone was dumbfounded. Many martial artists were even drooling because it was too beautiful. However, what shocked them even more was that the relationship between Lin Xian and Morong Qingqing was beyond ordinary friends. Could it be that there was a special relationship between the two of them? At this moment, many young talents felt their hearts ache. The 10,000 Thunder, Saint Sun's, face darkened. He had been to the dragon, transforming, like a couple of times already. Except for today, he had never seen Morong Qingqing's face. But now a young boy with an unknown background had won Morong Qingqing's favor. It really made him angry. Tuoba Tianxi's face also turned ugly. But then a cold smile appeared on his face. He snorted in his heart. Kid, you can be proud for a while. When I get the divine crystal, everyone will know who the real genius is. I think Morong Qingqing will also look at me with new eyes, and you will be trampled under my feet forever. At this moment, a purple light surged out of Tuoba Tianxi's body, forming a mysterious aura that enveloped him. Not only that, but the purple light in his eyes shone and turned into a solid light that pierced through the void. It gave people a very oppressive feeling. The whole air became condensed, and everyone seemed to be unable to breathe. In the next moment, he took a step forward. The whole ground trembled slightly, and the dozens of strange stones in front of him also trembled. This scene shocked everyone. In the crowd, Ouyang Mingfei, who was dressed in white, and Huang Fuqian, who had an ethereal temperament, also looked solemn. They knew that Tuoba Tianxi was about to make a move. They were very dissatisfied with Tuoba Tianxi's arrogance. However, they also knew that Tuoba Tianxi was really talented and a very powerful seeker. He would not lose to any of them. Chapter 1937. What a terrifying spirit-seeking technique. What a terrifying pupil technique. At this moment, everyone was shocked. They more or less knew about this spirit-seeking technique. Moreover, those powerful spirit-seeking masters looked solemn and even felt ashamed of their inferiority. Buzz! After a while, the void trembled. Then, more than a dozen stones fell to the ground without any damage. In the sky, there was another stone floating there. The stone was not big, only the size of a basketball. There were 3 round holes on it, each of which was the size of a walnut. They were distributed on the stone, which was very strange. This was the 3-orifice magical stone. Oh, Yang Mingfei frowned, and his handsome face was full of seriousness. On the side, Huang Fuqian also opened her red lips and said, Tuoba Tianxi is really crazy. He dares to choose this 3-orifice magical stone. What's wrong with the stone? Is there something wrong with it? The other martial artists looked at each other, not knowing the reason. At this moment, an older spirit-seeking master said in a deep voice, This kind of 3-orifice magical stone is very strange. Legend has it that there's either a peerless treasure or nothing inside. It can be said to be 2 extremes. What? It turned out to be like this. If there's no peerless treasure, there'll be nothing? This was really shocking. It seemed that Tuoba Tianxi was determined to choose a peerless treasure. The Holy Sun was also a little worried. Brother Tianxi, are you confident? Trust me, Brother Wanlei. My spirit-seeking technique has broken through again not long ago, so I'm full of confidence. Well, I'll bet with you. The Saint Son of 10,000 Thunder said with a smile. The other holy sons, holy daughters, mighty figures, and the surrounding martial artists were also shocked. This was really an exciting gamble. This guy is really crazy. Be careful. Even Morong Qingqing looks solemn. Obviously, she also knew how terrifying this 3-orifice magical stone was. Hearing this, Lin Xian nodded and gave Morong Qingqing a calm look. This time, the old lady from the Jade Lake sacred ground stood up and asked in a deep voice, Young master, have you decided to choose this three-orifice magical stone? That's right, Tuoba Tianci said. The old woman from the Jade Lake, sacred ground, said again. This three-orifice strange stone is 4,000 kilograms of crystals. What, 8,000 caddies of crystals? So expensive. Hearing this, everyone was extremely shocked. This is really a sky-high price. 8,000 genes of crystal stones, that was a huge sum. Even a king would be able to cultivate for a long time. But now it was only the price of a piece of stone, and this stone might not even contain any treasures. Sure enough, stone gambling was exciting. Lin Xian was also very surprised. This price was indeed too expensive. In the next moment, he looked at Tuoba Tianci. Tuoba Tianci's expression was grave. Clearly, the price was out of his expectations. But this time he had already boasted. It was impossible to turn back now. Moreover, he was very confident in his soul-seeking technique. In the next moment, he took out a storage ring and tossed it to the old lady of the Jade Lake, sacred ground. There are 4,000 kilograms of crystal stones in here. I hope Senior can take a look. The old lady of the Jade Lake, sacred ground, took the storage ring and probed it with her soul power. Soon, she nodded in satisfaction. Not bad. Now, this three-orifice strange stone is yours. As she spoke, she waved her hand, and the three-orifice strange stone came to Tuoba Tianci's feet. The surrounding people were shocked. They did not expect Tuoba Tianci to really spend 4,000 kilograms of crystal stones to buy a piece of stone. This was too crazy. If nothing was cut out, it would be a huge loss. That's 4,000 kilograms. I can't earn that much in my lifetime. No wonder he's the #1 genius of the Tuoba family. He's really rich. F***CK, comparisons are odious. What do you know? Tuoba Tianci must have his reasons for daring to do this. Think about it. If a peerless treasure is cut out, wouldn't he be rich? So, think about it. 4,000 kilograms is not too much. Not too much? The corners of everyone's mouths twitched. This price was not much for top geniuses like the saints, saintesses, and Tuoba Tianci. But for ordinary kings like them, this was definitely a shocking price. It was a price that they could not even imagine. Tuoba Tianci waved his hand and held the three-orifice strange stone in his hand. Then he smiled and looked at Lin Xian. Kid, it's your turn. I'm curious. Can you afford one of these stones with the money you have? You don't have to worry about it, Lin Xian said indifferently. Then he took a step forward and slowly came to the dozens of stones. Buzz! In the next moment, countless golden auras were released from his body. He was like a Buddha that rolled over. It formed a golden cloud that completely covered him, together with the dozens of stones. What's going on? What is this kid trying to do? Is he trying to snatch the stones? Oh my God, is he using the spirit-seeking technique? Why haven't we seen this before? Numerous voices of bewilderment sounded. Obviously, they couldn't understand Lin Xian's actions at all. The two old ladies from the Jade Lake, sacred ground, were also confused. Then they looked at Murong Qingcheng. Murong Qingcheng nodded and gave them a reassuring look. She trusted Lin Xian unconditionally. The two old ladies from the Jade Lake, sacred ground, didn't stop their saintess when they saw her like this. However, they were still vigilant in case Lin Xian suddenly ran away. Lin Xian was not running away. He used the golden aura to cover the stones so that he could fully display his heavenly secret divine eyes. After all, when the heavenly secret divine eyes were fully displayed, it would emit strange runes and golden light. He had to cover it up. Otherwise, it would be bad if he was discovered. When Tuoba Tianci saw Lin Xian and the golden light around him, he sneered. What a trick! You think you can find the real strange stone by creating other scenes? What a ridiculous idea! Kid, I don't think you're a spirit-seeking master. You're just a piece of trash who got lucky. You'll eventually show your true form in front of me. Lin Xian did not reply. He was still fully displaying his heavenly secret, divine eyes. The golden light shone, and strange runes appeared in his eyes. This caused his eyes to turn completely golden, making him look extremely mystical and mysterious. Fortunately, he had already unleashed a golden sun-like radiance in advance, enveloping the surroundings. Otherwise, his eyes would definitely cause everyone to be shocked. Even so, he had underestimated the golden prodigy. Although he had concealed the golden light, the aura of the heavenly secret divine eyes was too shocking. Chapter 1938. Boom! 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 The void trembled and the air froze. It was as if there was a pair of mysterious eyes coldly watching the world. At this moment, everyone's soul trembled inexplicably as fear rose from the bottom of their hearts. Damn it, what's going on? Why do I feel like I'm drenched? It can't be related to this kid, right? F***CK, this is too strange. Is this kid using some kind of demonic technique? They were all terrified, not understanding what was going on. However, the powerful seeker spirit masters were even more shocked. They all had eye techniques, but their eye techniques were suppressed. Some people's eyes even dimmed like flames that would be extinguished at any moment. What's going on? My eye technique is ineffective? Damn it, what did this kid do? At this moment, even the saints and saintesses had serious expressions. Ouyang Mingfei and Huang Fuqian had even more serious expressions. They also felt a pressure from their souls. Tuoba Tianxi's expression was ugly. He originally thought that the other party was just lucky and didn't have any strength. He was a piece of trash. But now, it seemed like that wasn't the case. The other party's aura made him feel uncomfortable. It seemed that Tuoba Tianfeng's defeat wasn't a coincidence, but because the other party was too strong. Damn it, who is this kid? How can he have such a terrifying eye technique? Tuoba Tianxi gritted his teeth and stared ahead. The two old ladies from the Jade Lake sacred ground were also surprised. They had never seen such a phenomenon before. They even thought of a legend. Could it be an Earth Spirit Master? Seeker Spirit Master was a very special profession. It was like alchemists and array masters. But those who knew the Lord Spirit technique were even rarer. Since it was a profession, there were ranks. Ordinary Seeker Spirit Masters were divided into 9 ranks. For example, Tuoba Tianxi was a rank 9 Seeker Spirit Master. He was young and stood at the peak of Seeker Spirit Masters. Of course, he was only at the peak of Seeker Spirit Masters. Above Seeker Spirit Masters, there were even more powerful existences. That was Earth Spirit Masters. Earth Spirit Masters were terrifying. Their power and abilities were beyond everyone's imagination. They weren't weaker than peerless powerhouses. Above the Earth Spiritualist, there was the even more mysterious and terrifying Sky Spiritualist. However, Celestial Spirit Masters were very mysterious. They had not appeared for many years, and no one had been able to cultivate to such a heaven-defying level. Lin Xian's current state reminded the two old ladies of an Earth Spirit Master. Lin Xian activated his heavenly secret god eyes, emitting mysterious runes. Soon, he locked onto a stone among the dozens of stones. That stone was completely gray and was about 1 meter tall. Compared to the 3-orifice wonderstone that he, Tuoba, had chosen, it could be said to be a giant. However, when Tuoba Tianxi saw the scene, he sneered. "Brat, I originally thought that you were very powerful. I didn't expect that you were just bluffing. Don't think that you'll be able to find treasures just because you chose a big stone." He had also examined the stone in Lin Xian's hand, but he didn't find any signs of treasure inside. Therefore, he guessed that it should be a useless rock. Moreover, ordinary spiritual masters wouldn't choose this kind of stone. He didn't expect that Ouyang Ming would choose that kind of stone. Lin Xian ignored this provocation. He turned to look at the old lady from the Jade Lake Holy Land and asked in a deep voice, "Senior, how much is this stone? 1,500 kilograms of crystals," the old lady from the Jade Lake Holy Land said slowly. Hearing this, everyone was in an uproar and discussed animatedly. 1,500 kilograms of crystals was also a sky-high price, but compared to the 4,000 kilograms from before, it was indeed much worse. In other words, even the Jade Lake Holy Land thought that the 1-meter-tall stone was not as good as the 3-orifice Wonder Stone. That was natural. The 3-orifice Wonder Stone was incomparably mysterious and could not be compared to any other stone. Moreover, based on the price alone, it could be seen that the people from the Jade Lake Holy Land did not care much about the 1-meter-tall stone. Discussions sounded one after another. Even Yangming Fei and Huang Fu Qian frowned. To be honest, during this process, they had been using their eye skills to observe, but they did not find anything unusual about this 1-meter-tall stone. Therefore, even if they were given 2 choices, they would not choose this stone. The 3-orifice Wonder Stone that Tuoba Tianxi chose is indeed extraordinary. According to my guess, there's an 80% chance that there's a treasure inside. Yangming Fei said in a low voice, "But I can't see through that 1-meter-tall stone." "I can't see through it either." On the side, Huang Fu Qian also frowned. "I didn't see any light inside, nor did I use the spirit-seeking art to sense the aura of divine crystals or rare crystals. If a person's judgment is wrong, it's understandable. But the 3 of us top-notch spiritual masters didn't discover the secret of that stone. Why did he choose that stone? Could it be that he was just lucky before and didn't know how to search for spirits? That's impossible, right? Just now, he clearly used a strange eye technique. The power of that eye technique made even us shudder in fear. It's hard to imagine that he doesn't know how to search for spirits. Could it be that his eye skill saw something special? What special thing could it be? Other than divine crystals, there's also ancient spiritual medicine. But even if the ancient spiritual medicine is sealed, we can still find it through the spirit-seeking art. Huang Fu Qian frowned. She really couldn't understand. Yangming Fei said faintly, "Forget it. If you don't understand, don't think about it. Anyway, they'll cut the stone soon. We'll know if there's anything inside soon." After the 2 made their choice, the next step was to cut the stone. Tuoba Tianxi was very confident. He cut the stone first. Crack, crack, crack. The small knife in his hand fell quickly, and the stone kept dancing. Tuoba Tianxi was very careful. Every cut was very precise. After a dozen cuts, a light suddenly lit up from the crack. It was so bright that it shone in the sky. Accompanying it was an aura that shook everyone's hearts. This aura? Is it a divine crystal? An older spiritual master widened his eyes. Heavens, there's really a treasure. It's a divine crystal. The surrounding martial artists were shocked to see this. They didn't expect that someone would cut out a divine crystal so soon. The last time a divine crystal was cut out was not long ago. It was Lin Xian. They didn't expect that only a day later, Tuoba Tianxi also cut out a divine crystal. There was indeed a treasure, and it was a divine crystal. Tuoba Tianxi was quite lucky. Yangming Fei's eyes flickered, while Huang Fu Qian snorted. Chapter 1939. There's indeed a treasure, and it's a divine crystal. Tuoba Tianxi is quite lucky. Yangming's eyes flickered. On the side, Huang Fu Qian snorted softly. The holy son of 10,000 thunder heaved a sigh of relief. He believed that they had won since the divine crystal was cut out. His red divine crystal was saved, and he thought that the other party would obediently leave Murong Qingqing's side. As Tuoba Tianxi's movements became faster, a sparkling divine crystal appeared in front of everyone. At this moment, the countless martial artists present, including the Holy Son, the Holy Daughter, The senior mighty figures and the two grannies from the Jade Lake sacred ground were all surprised. They all looked forward with rapt attention, as expected of the top young, God-favored spiritual master. His talent and strength were indeed terrifying. Yes, there were very few people who could cut out a divine crystal, and Tuoba Tianzi seemed to be only about 30 years old. It was indeed shocking to have such an achievement at such a young age. Exclamations were heard one after another. Tuoba Tianzi also raised his chin proudly and looked down at everyone. All of this was within his expectations. Then he looked down at Lin Xian and said coldly, "Boy, how is it? Do you know my strength now? It's impossible for you to win against me. So kneel in front of me obediently, kowtow, and admit your mistake. What's there to be arrogant about? Didn't you just cut out a divine crystal? What's the big deal? It's not like I haven't cut it out before. And judging from the size of your divine crystal, it's not even as big as the one I cut out before." Lin Xian sneered. Indeed, the divine crystal that Tuoba Tianzi cut out was 2 times smaller than Lin Xian's. "Humph, you're stubborn. You were completely lucky to be able to cut out a divine crystal last time. I don't believe that you can cut out a divine crystal this time. That rock of yours is just a piece of trash. Just wait and cry." At this point, not only him, but everyone around looked at Lin Xian. This was because they were very curious about what kind of treasure Lin Xian could produce after making such a big commotion. He, the 10,000 Thunder Saint, narrowed his eyes. "Brat, hurry up and leave the fairy's side and I can spare your life. Otherwise, don't blame me for taking action." Older brother Xian. Murong Qingqing was also worried. Her beautiful eyes were filled with worry. She also did not expect that this Tuoba Tianzi was actually so impressive to be able to easily cut out a piece of divine crystal. "Don't worry, I won't lose to him," Lin Xian comforted. He naturally had his reasons for choosing that meter-tall rock. Although he didn't find any light in the stone, it was true that he didn't find any light. However, he deduced that there should be treasures inside because he felt a heart-palpitating aura from inside. It was as if there was a terrifying existence inside the stone. When Lin Xian had encountered that stone, the great dragon sword soul in his body had automatically activated. Lin Xian had never encountered such a scene before. Therefore, he chose the stone without hesitation, because he also wanted to see what exactly was inside that could alarm the great dragon sword soul. Crack, crack! The cracks on the stone became bigger and bigger, but no light appeared. Seeing this, Tuoba Tianzi and the disciples of the Tuoba family became complacent again. "I told you, it's definitely a useless stone." "You still don't believe it? Look, there's no light. This brat is not good at all. He can't be compared with my big brother, Tuoba Tianzi." Tuoba Tianzi's lips also curled into a disdainful smile. This scene was within his expectations. The 10,000 Thunder Saint snorted. He knew that he would definitely win this time. Ouyang Mingfei and Huangfu Qian frowned. This shouldn't be. Could it be that they really misjudged? Lin Xian was unusually calm. The 1-meter-tall rock in front of him had more and more cracks. Crack, crack, crack. In the end, the entire rock broke into pieces. "There's nothing." Murong Qingqing's face was grave. She did not believe that the book would fail. "Brat, you've already lost. Kneel down and kowtow to apologize." Tuoba Tianzi sneered. The 10,000 Thunder Saint snorted. "From now on, stay away from the Jade Lake Saintess, or I'll kill you with my own hands." The disciples of the Tuoba family also sneered. However, Lin Xian snorted. "Who said that I lost? Who said that I didn't cut anything out? Open your dog eyes and see what this is." With that, Lin Xian waved his sleeve, and the rubble on the ground rolled down, revealing the situation inside. "What's this?" The disciples were puzzled. They found that there was indeed something in the rubble, but it was different from what they had imagined. It was not a crystal at all, but a claw. It was a claw as big as a human's palm, but it was furry with green hair. There were also 3 sharp fingernails. Is this a demonic beast's claw? How dare a broken claw be so arrogant? No one would want it even if you gave it to them for free. How dare you compare it with my big brother, Tuoba Tientsi's divine crystal? I'm dying of laughter. Kid, I think you're out of your mind. What's this? It's worse than trash. Tuoba Tientsi also sneered. That's right. It's just a piece of trash. Do you really think it can compare with my divine crystal? However, as soon as he finished speaking, a white-haired old man in the crowd suddenly rushed over. He swayed his body and arrived in front of the rubble. He was extremely excited. He stared at the small claw on the ground. What did I just see? It's really that thing. What's going on? Everyone was dumbfounded. The old man was so old that his hair almost reached his ankles. However, the aura on his body was abnormally powerful, like a burning furnace of heaven and earth. Whoosh! Right at this moment, another old man appeared. His hair was as messy as a bird's nest, and his clothes were tattered as if they were antiques. However, his eyes were unusually sharp, like 2 heavenly sabers that instantly cut through the void. Heavens, it's really that thing! The old man with the bird's nest hair was even more excited. He directly knelt on the ground and pressed his face against the ground to carefully examine the small green claw. What the hell? What's going on? Everyone's eyeballs fell to the ground. They really did not dare to imagine. Those were 2 old men who were living fossils. It could be said that even mighty figures had to be respectful when they saw them. However, such powerful figures had lost their composure at that moment. Moreover, they were facing a small green claw. More importantly, the small green claw was previously despised by everyone and was regarded as a piece of trash. Little guy, did you cut this thing out? The 2 old men looked at Lin Xian. Their eyes flickered as if divine flames were dancing in them. Yes, Lin Xian was frightened by the 2 of them, but he still nodded. How about selling it to me? I'll pay you 2 divine crystals. Chapter 1940. Clang! Many of the disciples of the Tuoba family fell to the ground with a dazed look on their faces. Were they blind? Someone was willing to pay 2 divine gems for a piece of trash? How was that possible? Tuoba Tientsi's face was pale and his lips were trembling. He could not believe what he had just seen. In his opinion, the claw was a piece of trash that was not worth a single cent. However, someone was willing to pay 2 divine gems for it. The value of the claw had exceeded the value of the item. Damn it, that's impossible. How can that item be worth 2 divine gems? Could it be that you're mistaken? Tuoba Tientsi could not help but scream in agitation. Mistake? Could it be that you are suspecting this old man? The elder with messy hair stood up and looked at Tuoba Tientsi coldly. This scene gave Tuoba Tientsi a fright. That was because that gaze was too sharp. Kid, which family are you from? How dare you be so rude and question me? Tuoba Tientsi was sweating profusely. He was the top genius of the Tuoba family. However, he was like an ant in front of these living fossils. He could not fight back at all. Senior, please stop. At that moment, 2 elders of the Tuoba family rushed over and apologized. This is the number 1 genius of the Tuoba family. He is still young and doesn't know any better. If he offended you, please forgive him. The 2 elders of the Tuoba family were respectable people. However, they were apologizing to Tuoba Tientsi like he was their junior. They did not dare to be arrogant at all. Tuoba family? Humph. The younger generation these days is getting worse and worse. They even dare to doubt this old man's words. I'll spare his life for the sake of the Tuoba family. If you doubt me again, I'll kill you. The living fossil with messy hair snorted and ignored those people. Instead, he turned around and stared at Lin Xian. Kid, Why don't you sell this item to me?" The surrounding people were dumbfounded. The powerful Tuoba family did not dare to raise their head after being reprimanded. The talented Tuoba Tianci had shocked everyone by cutting a divine gem, but now he was defeated. The reason for that was because the item Tuoba Tianci had taken out was even more frightening. Although they still didn't know what it was, the price of 2 divine crystals had already surpassed Tuoba Tianci's. The 10,000 Thunder Saint's face was frighteningly dark. He didn't expect to be defeated at the last moment. It was so long that it was incomprehensible. The other saints and saintesses were also surprised. Even Ouyang Mingfei and Huangfu Qian frowned. Clearly, this situation was beyond their expectations. However, at this moment, the situation in front of them changed again. The living fossil whose hair reached his heels also said, "2 divine crystals are nothing. I'll say 3. Little guy, sell it to me." To be honest, Lin Xian was stunned. This was because he didn't know what the little green claws were for. Not to mention him, even Murong Qingchen was astonished. But soon, she revealed a beautiful smile. This time, Lin Xian won again. The 2 old ladies of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground saw that something was wrong and hurriedly went to find the experts of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground. At this moment, another voice came from afar. 3 divine crystals and a top earth rank thunder technique. I wonder if you're willing to accept it, little brother? Hearing this voice, everyone was stunned and looked back. The 10,000 Thunder Saint's face turned green because the bidder was none other than the elder of the 10,000 Thunder Sacred Ground. The elder of the 10,000 Thunder Sacred Ground had offered a high price for the claw, but he was going against the other party. Wasn't this a slap to his face? The others were also shocked. They didn't expect the 10,000 Thunder Sacred Ground to participate, but soon they cried out in alarm. Because after this, the Elder of the Moon worshipping sect appeared and was willing to buy it at a high price. Not only that, but the Ouyang family, Huangfu family, and 5 Elements sect also sent experts and offered sky-high prices. Buzz! A light flashed in the void, and then a woman in red descended. She was surrounded by colorful clouds, and the lotus platform under her feet flickered. She looked like a fairy who had obtained the Tao. Elder. Seeing this, Murong Qingcheng also exclaimed softly. The beautiful woman in the palace dress nodded with a smile, and then said, "The Jade Lake Sacred Ground is willing to buy it for 5 divine crystals." Lin Xian was stunned. Wasn't this happiness a little too sudden? Previously, he was still worried about 1 divine crystal, but now someone actually offered 5 divine crystals to buy the claw he had cut out. However, he was still very surprised. "Senior, I really want to know what that green claw is. How can it be worth so many divine crystals?" To be honest, he was very surprised. Wasn't that green claw the corpse of a demonic beast? How could it be so valuable? This is indeed the corpse of a demonic beast, but it's not the corpse of an ordinary demonic beast. It has existed for at least 100,000 years. Moreover, it's very likely to be even older, the beautiful woman in red said indifferently. What, more than 100,000 years? Hearing this, Lin Xian was shocked. No wonder it was so valuable. It turned out that it had existed for so long. One had to know that a great emperor could only live for 10 or 20,000 years. 100,000 years was a very long time ago. Even if it was a treasure, it would have disappeared long ago. But the fact that the little green claw was able to survive was truly shocking. The others were also puzzled. How could something that was 100,000 years old be passed down? Of course, ordinary things can't be passed down. But what if it's sealed in a divine crystal? At this moment, a living fossil said, "This claw is not an ordinary claw. It's a claw sealed in a divine crystal. It can be said that it's extremely lucky to have survived until now. Although you can't see the divine crystal now, it's because the divine crystal has exhausted its energy over the endless years. We're also lucky to have cut it out at this time. Otherwise, I'm afraid that the claw wouldn't have survived for another 2 or 3 years. So that's how it is. Everyone understood. They didn't expect that there would be so many mysteries in a small claw. Lin Xian was also surprised when he found out. However, this thing was useless to him. Therefore, he directly sold it to the Jade Lake Sacred Ground. Firstly, the Jade Lake Sacred Ground offered the highest price. Secondly, Murong Qingcheng was the saintess of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground. With such a good thing, he naturally wanted to leave it to the Jade Lake Sacred Ground. With 5 divine crystals in his hands, Lin Xian couldn't stop smiling. Today was really a big harvest. Not only that, but the nerves of Tuoba Tianxi and the 1,000 Thunder Saint also belonged to him. In total, he had a total of 9 divine crystals in his hands. It was definitely a shocking wealth. Even the Almighty didn't have so many divine crystals. Chapter 1941. Humph! Tuoba Tianxi's complexion was frighteningly dark. He gnashed his teeth and his body started to tremble. He couldn't accept this failure. However, now wasn't the time to make a move. He could only coldly snort and quickly leave. The 10,000 lightning holy sun turned into a bolt of lightning and left. He didn't want to be bullied here. However, he also decided to deal with Tuoba Tianxi after the stone gambling convention. Although the others were also envious of the divine crystals, they didn't dare to make a move against Lin Xian. Lin Xian had already become a hot commodity. The 10,000 lightning holy ground, the 5 elements sect, the Ouyang family clan, the Huangfu family clan, and other peak powers all extended an olive branch to him. However, Lin Xian tactfully rejected all of them. He still had proper business to attend to, and that was to visit the All Beginnings holy ground. Half a day later, Lin Xian was pleasantly surprised to see that the All Beginnings holy ground had also sent people over. Just like the other holy grounds, they had invited Lin Xian to the All Beginnings holy ground as a guest. Lin Xian thought about this request for a moment. Then he nodded his head and agreed. It just so happened that he wanted to go to the All Beginnings holy ground anyway. Now that the other party had taken the initiative to invite him, it couldn't be any better. In the following days, Lin Xian didn't continue to go stone gambling. After all, he was in too much of the limelight right now. Therefore, he decided to stay in his small house in Murong Qingcheng. The two of them chatted about love and Tao. Their days were very leisurely. Finally, the Grand Stone Gambling Convention came to an end. As for the experts of the 5 great holy grounds, the Toba family, the Ouyang family, and the Huangfu family, the peak seeker spirit masters of these clans had all been invited by the All Beginnings holy ground. Lin Xian was also among them. The All Beginnings holy ground was a peerless holy ground of the southern domain. After entering the All Beginnings holy ground, Lin Xian didn't have the leisure to admire the mountains and rivers. Instead, he was transmitting his voice to Lu Mingyue. Lu Mingyue was also very excited. Although she was inside the Black Earth, she had already spread out her soul power. She hadn't expected Lin Xian to come in so quickly. This was truly out of her expectations. The people of the All Beginnings Holy Land invited Lin Xian, and the people from the 5 great holy lands and the 3 great seeking spirit master clans inside. He arranged for them to rest on the mountain peak. The purpose of the invitation this time was, firstly, to allow the various factions of the sacred lands to interact with each other. Moreover, there were several stones in the All Beginnings Holy Land. Therefore, they asked these peak experts and powerful spirit-seeking masters to examine them, speculating whether or not there was a treasure inside, and what kind of treasure was inside. Lin Xian also stayed for the time being. However, what he didn't know was that there was an enormous mountain peak in the All Beginnings Holy Land that resembled a giant sword that reached the heavens. This was the peak of the 5th bloodline. Above them were the experts of the 5th bloodline. Among them, in a few huge palaces, there were experts who opened their eyes. Stars flickered in their eyes. Hoo! These experts frowned. Why do I feel Lu Mingyue's presence? Indeed, according to the formation, that slut seems to have arrived at the all-beginnings Holy Land. How is that possible? We've set up an inescapable net in the southern region. Even a fly wouldn't be able to fly in. How did he get in? Could it be related to the stone gambling convention? In the past 2 days, our sacred lands have invited a lot of people. Perhaps that slut is among them. Damn it, we must find her. We must not let her meet the people of the 7th bloodline. After giving out orders, the people of the 5th bloodline began to move in secret. They weren't the only ones. The people of the 7th bloodline were also overjoyed. The people of the 5th bloodline had a formation that could detect Lu Mingyue's whereabouts. Moreover, they were even more attentive than the people of the 5th bloodline. After all, Lu Mingyue was their future hope. Therefore, they had sensed Lu Mingyue the moment she entered the sacred lands. Immediately, they dispatched experts to secretly meet with Lu Mingyue. At night, the starry sky flickered. On the mountain peak, a cool breeze blew by. It was somewhat chilly. Lin Xian wasn't together with Murong Qingqing. After all, he was still concealing his identity. As for Murong Qingqing, she was the holy daughter of the Jade Lake Sacred Lands. In front of everyone, it was impossible for the two of them to be together. Therefore, he chose a mountain peak for himself. How is it? Is it done? Lin Xian asked. It's done. I've already sent a voice transmission to the 7th bloodline. I think they'll come to pick me up soon. Lu Mingyue's voice also came from the black earth. Boom! However, at this moment, the void above their heads began to ripple rapidly like seawater. A mysterious power surged in all directions. Immediately after, a black-robed man appeared in the void. He was like a ghost, surrounded by incomparably dark black holes. Although he was extremely powerful, his aura was well hidden and did not alarm the other experts. However, Lin Xian's soul power was extremely powerful. He instantly sensed it. In the next moment, he suddenly raised his head, and his pupils constricted. They're here. Lin Xian was extremely shocked. He didn't expect the other party to find him so quickly. Judging from the killing intent, it was definitely not Lu Mingyue's master, but someone from the 5th bloodline. Lu Mingyue, UB*TCH. I didn't expect you to be able to come here. This is really beyond my expectations. However, I won't let you meet the people of the 7th bloodline. A cold voice sounded with a biting, cold, killing intent. Then, black-robed figures appeared in all directions on the entire mountain peak. Those people's auras were terrifying and powerful. They formed hand seals with their palms, and a strange energy was emitted, forming a huge formation that enveloped the entire mountain range. Oh no! Seeing this formation, Lin Xian frowned. He could naturally sense that this was a kind of isolation formation. They were fighting here, and the people outside should not be able to sense it. In the next moment, he quickly summoned the Crimson Dragon and had it break the formation. At the same time, Lin Xian let out a long roar. The aura on his body suddenly erupted, and a shocking sword qi rushed upwards. Boom! However, the black-robed man above shouted coldly. With a clap of his palm, a large hand appeared out of thin air. Like a mountain, it collided with the shocking sword qi, and then shattered the sword qi that filled the sky. Along with it came the pressure of an almighty, as well as a terrifying power. It's useless. In front of me, you're like ants. Today, you're not going anywhere. Kill them. With that order, the surrounding black-robed men moved quickly. Boom, boom, boom. Half of the black-robed men formed hand seals to maintain the formation. The other half of the black-robed men unleashed powerful energy, transforming into bolts of black lightning that charged towards Lin Xian. Whoosh! Lin Xian waved his sleeve, and dozens of sword chi flew out. At the same time, Lu Mingyue also came out of the black earth and displayed her powerful strength. Boom, boom, boom. The collision between the two was earth-shattering. However, the formation concealed everything. From the outside, the entire mountain peak was quiet, and there was no movement at all. However, there were a few streams of light appearing in the sky outside. Chapter 1942. The auras of these figures were also very powerful. Their target was also the mountain peak where Lin Xian was. Lu Mingyue should be on that mountain peak. They could not sense Lu Mingyue's aura. Could it be that something had happened? Let's speed up. The figures looked anxious. They realized that Lu Mingyue's aura had been concealed, which gave them a bad feeling. In the next moment, they could not help but speed up. However, they were soon stopped by someone. "Junior brothers and sisters, where are you going?" An old voice sounded. "Senior brother Lu." "Damn it, you people from the 5th bloodline have also received the news. Hee, I advise you not to go. Lu Mingyue is also a sinner of our sacred ground. For such a person, we should capture and kill her on the spot. How dare you?" One of the middle-aged men shouted angrily. "Why wouldn't I dare?" The void fluctuated and an old man appeared. Although he was old, his eyes were shining with a powerful aura. He was wearing a dark blue Taoist robe with mysterious Taoist patterns on it. With a light stomp of his foot, blue ripples spread out like seawater, forming a domain. It quickly enveloped the entire surroundings. Seeing this scene, the pupils of the experts from the 7th bloodline constricted. "Everyone, break out of the encirclement!" The middle-aged man shouted coldly. Then, the few of them moved and rushed in all directions. "It's useless. You can't escape." The old man in the blue starry robe sneered, and the center of his eyes became illusory. Then, in the void, streaks of blue ripples spun rapidly like ocean waves, completely trapping the experts of the 7 lineages. On the mountain peak below, Lin Xian held the demon sword in his hand and blocked the attacks of the 6 men in black. He quickly asked, "Why haven't the people from the 5th bloodline arrived yet?" Bang! Lu Mingyue waved her palm and sent the 3 of them flying. At the same time, she said they should be here soon. Could it be that something happened? After hearing this, the old man in black sneered disdainfully. "Don't count on the people from the 7th bloodline. They won't come." What? Hearing this, Lin Xian frowned. It seemed that the people of the 5th bloodline had intercepted them. This was not good news at all. After all, this place was none other than the All Beginnings' holy land. No matter how strong he was, it was impossible for him to contend with these people in the Holy Land's territory. Therefore, they had to break out. As long as the people of the 7th bloodline arrived, Lu Mingyue would meet them, and Lin Xian would leave on the black earth. Kill. Therefore, Lin Xian did not hesitate and unleashed an ultimate strike. The terrifying sword chi whistled and let out a roar that made one's heart tremble. Then, like a long dragon, it swept across the sky. Pung, pung, pung. The 6 black-clothed men beside him were sent flying by the sword. Damn it! How can this kid be so powerful? The 6 black-clothed men's faces were incomparably solemn. Humph! In the sky, the black-robed mighty figure snorted coldly. He had also discovered that Lin Xian's strength was beyond his expectations. Therefore, the mighty figure in black decided to do it himself. He stretched out his palm, and the black palm rapidly enlarged. It was incomparably black, resembling a primordial devil mountain. Its aura was terrifying as it rapidly pressed downwards. Whoosh! Lin Xian used the heavenly dragon's 8 steps and turned into a stream of light. He quickly dodged and stabbed out with his sword. Humph! The black-robed, mighty figure sneered disdainfully. He was powerful, and his opponent was merely a little king. How dare he attack him? He was truly courting death. In the next moment, he pressed down with his palm. Instantly, the incomparably black devil palm turned into black flames and rushed toward the sword Qi. Boom! The collision between the two was earth-shattering. One after another, pitch-black cracks appeared in the sky. In the end, the sword Qi was shattered. As for the pitch-black devil palm, it also flew for a while before disappearing into the void. He was actually able to block it. The black-robed, mighty figure furrowed his brows. A little king was able to block his attack. It was simply too inconceivable. No wonder you could come to the Holy Land. As expected, you have some skills. However, do you think you can defeat me with just this? The black-robed, mighty figure sneered. Then his body shone with light. Strands of primal chaos energy appeared and formed 8 primal chaos heads. They were incomparably malevolent, just like demonic beasts. A terrifying primal chaos energy filled the sky. Then the wonton head spat out 8 primal chaos demonic figures. Each of them held a sword and saber in their hands. They were incomparably powerful and charged toward Lin Xian. Seeing the scene, Lin Xian took a deep breath. He also had a wonton clone standing in front of him. Instantly, 3 clones rapidly appeared. Boom! Intense collisions occurred. Countless rays of light flashed in the sky. A terrifying aura suppressed the surroundings. Damn it! You actually know how to use the primal chaos secret technique. The black-robed, mighty figure's expression changed. He was too shocked. Meat stew was a secret technique of the All Beginnings Holy Land. How could his opponent know how to use it? Could it be that slut Lu Mingyue gave it to him? The black-robed, mighty figure's expression turned cold. He decided that he had to kill his opponent. He couldn't allow this secret technique to spread. On the other side, the Crimson Dragon was rapidly breaking through the array formation. Although the array formation formed by the black-robed men was profound, it still had flaws in front of the Crimson Dragon. Crack! Before long, the Crimson Dragon God created a small crack in the array formation. Although it was only a small crack, it was more than enough. The Crimson Dragon God roared. The terrifying dragon roar transmitted through the crack. Roar! This roar caused the earth to tremble. In an instant, the roar rushed out of the array formation and spread throughout the All Beginnings Holy Land. At this moment, countless powerful auras surged. One figure after another flew into the sky. They were extremely shocked. What's with this roar? Could it be that a demonic beast has entered? Damn it! Who is it that dares to cause trouble in the All Beginnings Holy Land? Angry roars resounded one after another. The crowd became even more confused. Damn it! Inside the array formation, the black-robed, mighty figure's expression was incomparably ugly. He hadn't expected that the other party would be able to break through their array formation so quickly. Moreover, the roar was transmitted outside. This was something that he hadn't expected. Kill! At this moment, he couldn't care about anything else. He had to kill Lu Mingyue as soon as possible. Otherwise, things would become troublesome once the people from the 7th bloodline arrived. Therefore, the black-robed mighty figure turned into a streak of light. With a pitch-black scythe in his hand, he quickly slashed toward Lu Mingyue. Buzz! Lin Xian used Heavenly Dragon's 8 steps and arrived beside Lu Mingyue. Then, he used the Black Earth to store Lu Mingyue. Shua! In the next instant, he disappeared into the void. Just as he disappeared, a black scythe appeared and cut through the void. Ah, damn brat! Get the hell out here! The black-robed mighty figure roared crazily. He was about to go crazy from anger. The surrounding black-robed mighty figures also joined forces to kill Lin Xian. But soon they were sent flying by Lin Xian. Some of them were even seriously injured. They were almost cut in half by the sword Qi. Chapter 1943. Shot. None of them were a match for Lin Xian. Roar. At this time, the Crimson Dragon released 2 more roars. The sound was vast and mighty, spreading for thousands of miles. It was like a sudden clap of thunder that caused one's soul to tremble. What a terrifying roar! What kind of monster beast is this? Isn't it too terrifying? Everyone was shocked. As for the All Beginnings Holy Land's martial artists, they were finally unable to sit still. They followed the sound and quickly flew towards the mountain peak. Not far away, the expressions of the experts from the 7th bloodline also changed. Could it be Ming Yue? Humph! The star-robed old man's expression was ice-cold. He had naturally discovered that the direction the roars were coming from was where Lu Mingyue was. However, wasn't there already an almighty expert besieging that place? How could there still be a change? He truly couldn't understand. But before long, 2 streaks of light appeared in the distance. An enormous aura rapidly burst forth and flew over. It's someone from the 7th bloodline. Seeing this scene, the star-robed old man's expression became even more gloomy. He knew that it would be difficult to succeed today. Thus, he sighed and disappeared into the void. Following his disappearance, the star-like vortexes in the sky also rapidly disappeared. We're saved. The experts from the 7th bloodline breathed a sigh of relief. There was nothing they could do about it. Their senior brother was simply too terrifying. Fortunately, their senior brother still had misgivings about the rules of the Holy Land and didn't openly attack them. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to escape. In the next instant, they turned into streaks of light and flew forward. Boom! 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 Powerful auras descended one after another. Moreover, the array formation formed by the black-robed men shattered. When the black-robed almighty expert saw this scene, he gnashed his teeth and revealed an unwilling expression. But in the end, he still turned into countless strands of demonic energy that wrapped around the black-robed men and disappeared into the void. Who are you people? Who allowed you to fight here? Sensing the remnant energy fluctuations in the air, the All Beginnings Holy Land's martial artists that had rushed over had gloomy expressions. But at this time, Lin Xian controlled the black earth and a beautiful figure appeared. It was Lu Mingyue. As soon as she appeared, she flew into the sky and shouted, "Master!" Disciple! A middle-aged woman in a long red dress came out, her body exuding a monstrous aura. She looked at Lu Mingyue and said excitedly, Good. It's good that you're back." Whoosh! Whoosh! Following the appearance of the woman in red, more than 10 mighty figures appeared in the surroundings. They descended and protected Lu Mingyue firmly. At this time, the cultivators from the other factions also arrived, as well as the guests from the other holy lands. When they saw this scene, they were extremely shocked. What? That woman is Lu Mingyue? She actually came back? Heavens, how is this possible? Doesn't her return mean that she's going to become the new saintess of all beginnings? Damn it, she actually managed to sneak in. Damn it, what are the people of the 5th bloodline doing? Why didn't they guard against her? The martial artists of the other factions gnashed their teeth, their expressions abnormally cold. The people from the 5th bloodline had also arrived. When they saw this scene, they were so angry that they were about to vomit blood. Soon, an expert from the 5th bloodline snorted coldly, "Humph! What's the use of coming back? She's a sinner of the Holy Land. You'll still be punished if you come back. That's right. She's committed a capital crime. She's already become someone's maid. She doesn't deserve to be the new saintess." Cold shouts came one after another. However, the woman in red snorted coldly, "If any of you have a problem with this, I'll exchange a few moves with him." Speaking of this, she grasped the red hidden sword at her waist. Suddenly, the aura of the woman in red erupted like a volcano, sweeping across the entire sky. In an instant, the area within a radius of 10,000 miles was dyed red. Bang! Bang! Many people turned pale and almost knelt on the ground. They couldn't bear this terrifying aura at all. A peerless, mighty figure. This woman in red was actually a peerless, mighty figure. The terrifying aura was like a divine monument, suppressing the void. Du Hongling, although you're a peerless, mighty figure, don't bully others. The fifth bloodline isn't afraid of you. That's right. In terms of strength, you're no match for the fifth bloodline. Moreover, we won't bully others. We'll speak with facts. Lu Mingyue is indeed not suitable to be the new saintess. Moreover, I think it's a mistake for her to stay in the Holy Land. It's better to expel her from the sect. Do you think you can expel her just because you say so? The woman in red, Du Hongling, snorted coldly. News about my disciple has already spread throughout the entire eastern wilderness. What happened before was all the doing of Zheng Xiu from the fifth bloodline. My disciple wasn't captured at all, nor is she a traitor of the Holy Land. So, if you're not convinced, then go ahead and fight. I, Du Hongling, am not afraid of you. At this point, the aura on her body became fierce again. The clouds in the sky churned, and the red light turned into 3 huge long swords, each of which was 10,000 miles long. They were like giant dragons, spiraling in the void. When the surrounding kings saw this scene, their faces turned pale. If a fight broke out, the entire mountain range would probably cease to exist, and they wouldn't be able to escape either. Lin Xian stood at the side. Looking at this scene, he was extremely shocked. Is this Lu Mingyue's master? What a domineering woman. However, he was relieved. With such a powerful master, it wouldn't be too difficult for Lu Mingyue to become the saintess. Du Hongling, you're too presumptuous. At this moment, the void rippled again, and the star-robed old man from before appeared again. As he appeared, a middle-aged man with a yellow face appeared beside him. He was wearing a yellow robe, and his face was sallow. He looked extremely ordinary. However, as soon as he appeared, the expressions of the people from the Holy Land changed. Ma Yuanshan, you actually came out of seclusion. Du Hongling's expression was also very serious. Ma Yuanshan was the middle-aged man with a sallow face. He was also a peerless almighty. Therefore, his appearance caused the entire scene to change again. The 2 peerless almighties confronted each other, and their terrifying auras continued to rise. Moreover, they collided in the void, and each blow tore the void apart. Everyone quickly retreated, afraid that they would be affected by this energy. However, at this tense moment, the stars in the sky flickered, and then emitted light, condensing into a human face. Both of you stop. Come with me. There was a vast pressure in this voice, as if a god was looking down on the world. Seeing that starry face, the 2 peerless almighties' expressions turned serious. They hurriedly restrained their auras. As for the surrounding Holy Land's cultivators, they respectfully bowed. We pay our respects to the Holy Master. This starry face was actually condensed by the All Beginnings Holy Land's Holy Master. Lin Xian was also very nervous. The strength of a Holy Land's Holy Master was incomparably terrifying and unfathomable. Just the other party's aura was enough to make his entire body tense, as if he was facing a great enemy. Chapter 1944. The great dragon sword soul in his body also began to circulate rapidly to resist the pressure in the sky. Fortunately, the face of the Holy Lord of all beginnings in the sky quickly disappeared. Then Du Hongling, Ma Yuanshan, and the surrounding people all soared into the sky and flew into the distance. From the looks of it, they should be going to the Holy Lord of all beginnings. As for the others, their eyes flickered. Many of them looked at Lin Xian because they didn't expect Lin Xian to be with Lu Mingyue. This was even more shocking. For a time, many people guessed Lin Xian's true identity. Murong Qingqing was also very worried. However, Lin Xian sent her a voice transmission and told her not to come over for the time being. Lin Xian had 9 divine crystals in his hands. Even in the holy land of all beginnings, he had the ability to protect himself. Therefore, he didn't want Morong Qingqing to be involved in this maelstrom. Morong Qingqing said with concern, "Big Brother Xian, be careful. If you really can't do it, leave early." In the latter half of the night, many people wandered around the mountain peak where Lin Xian was. However, in the end, they didn't make a move. It was as if they were afraid of something. The next day, the people of the 7th branch came. They were very grateful that Lin Xian had escorted Lu Mingyue back. Moreover, they passed on Lu Mingyue's words. They said that they would definitely fulfill the agreement between the two of them. However, they would have to wait for some time. At the same time, the people of the 7th branch also gave Lin Xian some earth-rank treasures and some crystals. It seemed that they were quite rich. Lin Xian didn't hesitate to accept these things. He had escorted Lu Mingyue back for the reward. Of course, this reward was only a little bit of interest. The real benefits would have to wait until Lu Mingyue became the holy maiden of all beginnings. However, it would be soon. Soon, the people of the 7th branch left. However, half a day later, several people arrived. Seeing these people, Lin Xian frowned because they were people of the 5th branch. These were the disciples of the 5th bloodline. The one in the lead wore a green robe, and his expression was unusually cold. He walked up to Lin Xian and looked at him coldly. Then he asked, "Are you the one who escorted senior sister Lu here?" Although it was only one sentence, it surprised Lin Xian, because just yesterday the people of the 5th branch had called Lu Mingyue AB*TCH, but today they had already changed their way of addressing her as senior sister Lu. It seemed that Lu Mingyue had been reaccepted. This was good news for Lin Xian. However, he couldn't understand why the people from the 5th bloodline had come. Logically speaking, they should be thanking the people from the 7th bloodline. Could it be that the people from the 5th bloodline were looking for trouble? In the next moment, Lin Xian nodded. "That's right, it's me. Who are you and what do you want?" "We are naturally disciples of the All Beginnings Holy Land." The green-robed youth said coldly, "You escorted senior sister Lu back, which is a great contribution. We naturally have to treat you well. We've already prepared a banquet. Brother, if you don't have enough, why don't you come with us? Rest assured, we won't do anything to you. We just want to thank you properly." "Thank me?" Lin Xian sneered in his heart. These people were clearly people from the 5th bloodline. Their eyes were filled with killing intent. How could it be that they were purely thanking him? Most likely this was a trap. They wanted to bring him over so that they could attack him. Because of that, Lin Xian shook his head. "There's no need. I still have matters to attend to. There's no need for a banquet." "How can that be?" Right at this moment, a pink-clothed woman stood forward and arrogantly said, "Our All Beginnings holy land will not owe anyone a favor. If you don't go, wouldn't it seem like we're not treating you well? You've already treated me very well. There's no need for an additional banquet. Furthermore, I still have other matters to attend to. Thus, you all should return." Lin Xian shook his head and refused. "Brother, are you not giving us space?" Hearing those words, the expressions of those people sank. "Our elder has already spoken. No matter what, we must invite brother over today. If you don't give us space like this, won't we be punished when we return?" "That's right. Even if we have to tie you up, we must bring you out." The pink-clothed woman became even more aggressive. From the looks of it, as long as Lin Xian refused again, they would attack him. Lin Xian sneered. "What's wrong? Are you all going to attack me because I'm not willing to go?" "Attack?" "Brother, you must be joking. We're not attacking you. We're only inviting you over. Men, come and escort this brother away." The green-clothed youth sneered. Immediately, 2 more disciples walked out from behind him. Their auras surged, and terrifying light enveloped Lin Xian. "Humph!" Lin Xian coldly snorted. His body trembled, and he shattered the two illusory hands. Your All Beginnings, Holy Land's way of treating guests is truly special. It's good that you know. This is only a warning. If you don't obediently leave with us, we won't do it again. Next time it won't be so easy. Seeing that Lin Xian dared to resist, the green-clothed youth's expression sank. In the next instant, he coldly said, "Take him away!" "Brat, obediently leave with us." The two disciples sneered. They quickly rushed toward Lin Xian from the left and right. Scram! Lin Xian snorted coldly and kicked out with his leg. Pung! Pung! The two disciples screamed miserably and were sent flying. "You dare attack me?" Seeing this scene, the pink-clothed woman shouted. Her beautiful eyes were filled with flames of anger. She truly didn't expect that the other party would dare to attack them in their holy land. They were truly reckless. Whoosh! In the next instant, she pulled out a red whip from her waist and lashed it forward. Whoosh! The red whip expanded in the wind, turning into a red flood dragon that bared its fangs and brandished its claws. In the blink of an eye, it arrived before Lin Xian. Lin Xian's expression was calm. He stretched out his palm and used the dragon-capturing hand. A dragon-shaped claw appeared on his palm, and he grabbed forward. Hum! He caught the red flood dragon with his palm. The flood dragon struggled with all its might, flipping and slapping the void, but it couldn't break free. Damn it! Seeing this scene, the pink-clothed woman's face turned pale. She didn't expect the other party to be so powerful that he could catch her whip so easily. Damn it, let go of me! The pink-clothed woman stomped her feet in anger, but she couldn't pull back her long whip. Junior sister, let me help you. The green-clothed man saw this scene and roared angrily. He flipped his palm, and a turquoise-long saber appeared in his hand. Boom! He slashed down with his saber, and a green saber light that was 100 feet long shone in the air. It even carried balls of turquoise flames. Lin Xian raised his other hand, and a huge light sword appeared in his hand. It was filled with murderous intent and emitted a terrifying whistling sound. The sword slashed down, and the turquoise saber light collided. A terrifying whistling sound was heard. An intense light burst forth in the air. Crack! The turquoise saber light that was 100 feet long was instantly shattered into pieces. Chapter 1945. A terrifying sound whistled through the air, and an intense radiance burst forth in the air. Crack! The 300-meter-long dark green saber light was instantly shattered into pieces. Pung! 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 The green-robed youth retreated, continuously with a shocked expression. His opponent's strength was simply too great. A single sword strike had forced him back. Damn it! How can this brat be so strong? The green-robed youth's expression turned gloomy. But in the next moment he arrived beside the pink-robed girl and quickly transmitted his voice to her. Junior sister, I have an idea. When the pink-robed girl heard this idea, her face turned red. But soon after, she clenched her teeth and agreed. After all, they had to eliminate the other party today. In the next instant, the pink-robed girl gnashed her teeth, and killing intent appeared in her eyes. Then, her lily-white hands began to tear apart her clothes. Chee! Chee! Soon, her pink dress was torn apart, revealing her snow-white skin. Under the illumination of the sun, her skin looked so delicate that it could be torn apart. This scene was extremely alluring. However, Lin Xian furrowed his brows. Ah! Right at this moment, the pink-robed girl shrieked. Then, she hugged herself and retreated. Men, save me! I'm being indecent! The pink-robed girl shrieked. As for the green-robed man, a sneer appeared on the corner of his mouth. Soon he started to play along. He crazily roared, Damned brat! You dare to be so rude to my junior sister. He was a 6-star king. At this moment, he circulated his spiritual energy and shouted. Terrifying sound waves spread out in all directions like waves. What's going on? His voice attracted the attention of many people. Countless rays of light flew over from the sky. These were the disciples of the All Beginnings Holy Land. They had been attracted by that voice. Fellow brothers, you've come at the right time. This brat is too hateful. He actually wants to molest my junior sister. What? Hearing this, the disciples that had rushed over were all enraged. They all glared at Lin Xian with unkind expressions. It wasn't just the young disciples. Several aged figures also appeared in the sky. What's going on? A dignified voice sounded. It was a middle-aged man wearing a red robe. His aura was powerful. Reporting to Attendant Wang, my junior sister and I have received orders to invite that brat down there for a meal. I didn't expect that brat to have evil intentions after seeing my junior sister's beauty and want to molest her. We had good intentions, but we didn't expect him to be so vicious. That damned bastard. He's simply too arrogant. He actually dares to commit murder in the All Beginnings Holy Land. Take him down and avenge junior sister. *CK, we must cripple his cultivation. Chop off his limbs and feed him to the dogs. Cold shouts could be heard from the crowd. Most of these people were disciples of the fifth bloodline and were hiding in the crowd, shouting nonstop. Obviously, this was all premeditated. This matter caused an uproar, and more martial artists rushed over. Soon, the entire mountain range was completely surrounded. Brat, although you've done a meritorious deed by escorting Lu Minghua back, you're too arrogant. Therefore, you must be punished today. Kneel down obediently and accept your punishment. I will only cripple your cultivation and spare your life. The red-robed, middle-aged man stood up, his voice cold. He was also from the fifth bloodline. Stop! At that moment, the people from the seventh branch arrived as well. They said, What are you doing? This young master is a guest of our seventh branch. Guests? What a joke! He's no longer a disciple of our fifth bloodline. Can't I touch him? The red-robed, middle-aged man sneered. What's going on? Seeing the woman in pink in front of them, the people from the seventh bloodline also frowned. Lin Xian said in a low voice, Obviously, this is a show. Their goal is to capture me. That woman's clothes were torn by her own hands. What? Hearing this, the surrounding martial artists were shocked. The people from the fifth bloodline sneered. What kind of joke is this? You're obviously quibbling. Why would my junior sister frame you? You know, we've never known you before. This time, we're just here to invite you out of kindness. That's right, we have no reason to frame you. Brat, you're so young, but you're so vicious. If such a person continues to grow, it'll be a disaster. Why don't we just get rid of him today? Cold shouts came one after another. Immediately after, several huge figures stood out and locked onto Lin Xian. The middle-aged man said, Is the seventh bloodline going to interfere in this matter? What? The people from the seventh bloodline frowned and hesitated, because they didn't know if Lin Xian had really done anything to her. The current situation was very unfavorable for them. Lin Xian didn't expect the people from the seventh bloodline to help him with all their might. He sneered, looked forward, and said loudly, Why did you frame me? It's very simple. Because I escorted Lu Minghua back. You're dissatisfied and can't do anything to her, so you can only vent your anger on me. How dare you? The fifth bloodline is open and above board. Why would we attack a stranger? You're obviously quibbling. Men, take him down. The middle-aged man roared. Immediately, two figures in front of him rushed out and quickly attacked Lin Xian. The two people's bodies flickered with light. They were very powerful. Every step they took cracked the void. In an instant, they arrived beside Lin Xian. Two large hands stretched out, and huge palms of light appeared. Killing intent surged like two huge demonic beasts that enveloped Lin Xian. For a moment, the entire sky shone with light. A terrifying aura surged and completely sealed Lin Xian. The surrounding warriors also cried out in surprise. Among them, the people from the fifth bloodline cheered with all their might. In their opinion, the other party was definitely going to die. Bang bang. However, Lin Xian sneered twice. He used the great dragon sword soul. The terrifying aura surged and condensed into a huge golden lightning hammer in his hand. Golden light shone, and a huge lightning bolt surged with terrifying power and rushed out of the void. Lin Xian waved the golden lightning hammer in his hand and smashed it forward. Soon, an intense collision sounded in the sky. The two powerhouses from the fifth bloodline were directly sent flying and vomited blood. So powerful, the surrounding crowd exclaimed, while the people from the fifth bloodline gritted their teeth in a daze. They didn't expect the other party to be so powerful. How dare you? The middle-aged man was also angry. He shouted coldly, "How dare you hit the martial artists of our sacred land in broad daylight? This is unforgivable. Men, kill him on the spot." The cold voice carried a biting, cold-killing intent and reverberated in all directions. Oh no! The people from the seventh bloodline also had ugly expressions, their brows tightly knitted. No one saw what happened before. Perhaps there was still room for negotiation. But now, Lin Xian had injured two Holy Land martial artists in front of everyone, and everyone had seen it. There was no way to quibble. Their seventh bloodline couldn't make a move now. Lin Xian sneered. He had long known the fifth bloodline's thoughts, but it wasn't that easy to kill him. Chapter 1946. Looking at the four figures, Lin Xian snorted coldly. In the next moment, he formed a seal with his palms and a boundless chill spread out from his body. Crack! 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 Wherever the chill passed, the void froze. The four fifth lineage elites turned pale and tried to escape. But in an instant they were frozen into ice cubes. What a terrifying chill aura! It's so cold! When the surrounding sacred land martial artists saw this, their scalps went numb and they retreated. This move was too terrifying. It froze four elites in an instant. Humph! The middle-aged man snorted. He could tell that Lin Xian was powerful. Now, it seemed that he had to do it himself. Kid, you're too arrogant. Today, I'll kill you personally. As he spoke, the chaotic chi emerged from his body and formed a chaotic sun behind him. It bloomed with thousands of rays of light. A terrifying aura filled the air and endless chaotic light shone, illuminating the entire sky. Kill! With a roar, 5 giant golden crows appeared from the chaotic sun behind him. Each of them was 100 feet long and looked as though they were made of gold. They were lifelike. They spread their wings and flew toward Lin Xian, bringing with them a sky full of flowing light. In the distance, the sacred land martial artists were suppressed by this boundless aura. Their bodies trembled and they almost lost their balance. Whoosh! Whoosh! The 5 golden crows quickly approached Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted and raised his hand. Endless chill aura gathered in his left hand and formed a large blue bow. On his right hand, black flames danced and formed a black arrow. Draw the bow and shoot the golden crows. Boom! 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 He drew the bow 5 times in a row. 5 pitch-black arrows burned with boundless heat and pierced through the golden crows, blowing them up. In the sky, violent energy explosions swept out in all directions. As for the surrounding crowd, they were all stunned. The middle-aged man's pupils shrank. He did not expect Lin Xian to be so powerful that he could even contend with him. In the next moment, he stomped his feet and turned into a ray of flowing light, rushing over quickly. In the palm of his hand, the chaotic chi swirled and formed a huge chaotic vortex. accompanied by the power of the chaotic sun. It shot out quickly. Pum! The void was like a mirror, shattering right away. Furthermore, the cracks were spreading rapidly, trying to swallow Lin Xian whole. Whoosh! Lin Xian's figure flickered, instantly leaving his original spot and appearing in another direction. He drew the bow in his hand again. Whang! A black arrow shot out, causing the void to tremble as it flew towards the middle-aged man. Ka! The void was directly pierced through, creating a pitch-black ravine. The middle-aged man was shocked. He waved his hands, and the light of chaos formed 7 shields in front of him. At the same time, a green armor appeared on his body, shining brightly. Boom! However, the arrow in the sky contained the power of the great dragon's sword soul. Like a hot knife through butter, it easily pierced through the 7 chaos shields. Then, it pierced through the middle-aged man. The middle-aged man let out a blood-curdling scream as his shoulder was pierced through, and he flew backward. In the end, he was nailed to a mountain peak. Blood dripped from the sky, and screams reverberated in the surroundings, causing everyone's scalp to go numb. The people of the 5th bloodline gasped, and their eyes were filled with fear. This middle-aged man was extremely powerful. He could be said to be at the peak of 6-star kings, but he was easily injured. He could not fight back at all. What was the background of that young man in front of them? Why was his combat strength so terrifying? For a moment, they were terrified and did not dare to look at him again. Humph! How dare you make a move in the sacred land? You're courting death. At this moment, the void fluctuated, and a large number of figures appeared. There were young prodigies, middle-aged men, and even pale old men. Without exception, they were all powerhouses of the 5th bloodline. As soon as these people appeared, they sealed off the surroundings and directly trapped Lin Xian. This time, they would definitely not let him escape. It's over. This kid is definitely dead. That's right. The young prodigies and the elders of the 5th bloodline have all appeared. I'm afraid this kid won't be able to escape no matter how heaven-defying he is. There's nothing they can do. This kid sent Lu Minghua back. It can be said that he has completely angered the 5th bloodline. It's normal for the people of the 5th bloodline to want to kill him now. Discussions broke out one after another. This time not only the people of the 5th bloodline, but also the powerhouses of the 5 sacred lands and the 3 seeker families in the distance. Because the commotion here was too big, it directly alarmed them. When they learned that it was the people of the 5th bloodline who attacked Lin Xian, many of them immediately sneered. Among them, especially Tuoba Tianxi and the 1,000 Thunder Saint. They all looked down with a sneer on their faces. I told you, this kid is not a good person at all. Look, he actually wants to rape the female disciple of the sacred land of rites. Such a person can't be left in this world. I think it's better to kill him directly. The 1,000 Thunder Saint said coldly. On the other side, Tuoba Tianxi also sneered. Murong Qingqing, on the other hand, looked solemn. She did not believe that Lin Xian would do such a thing. He must have been framed. Therefore, she stepped forward and said in a deep voice, "Stop! There must be a misunderstanding." What misunderstanding? The female disciple who was bullied is right below. The evidence is conclusive. Moreover, this kid injured the cultivators of our sacred land in front of everyone. Everyone saw it. There is no misunderstanding at all. At this moment, an elder of the 5th bloodline stepped forward and said coldly, "Jade Lake Saintess, although you are an honored guest, this matter is the business of the All Beginnings sacred land. I hope you won't interfere." Saintess, the people of the Jade Lake sacred land also stepped forward to dissuade her. Indeed, with their current status, it was not convenient for them to interfere. Murong Qingqing also snorted coldly. However, she decided that she would not let these people hurt Lin Xian in the slightest. Fairy Morong is the Jade Lake Saintess. It is not convenient for her to interfere. What about me? At this time, another ice-cold voice sounded. Lu Mingyue. Everyone turned around and saw a fairy-like figure appear. That's right, it was Lu Mingyue. At this moment, she had already recovered her status as a saintess candidate. Moreover, it would not be long before she became a true saintess. Therefore, her appearance naturally caused a commotion among the crowd. Lu Mingyue said indifferently, I understand him. He would not do such a thing. I think there must be some misunderstanding. What misunderstanding? The evidence is conclusive. The elder of the fifth bloodline sneered. That's right. How dare he bully the people of our fifth bloodline? We must kill this kid. The people of the fifth bloodline all shouted in anger. Conclusive? Lin Xian smiled. Are you sure the evidence is conclusive? Of course. The person is already here. How could it be false? That elder snorted coldly. Very well. Since you want evidence, I will show you the evidence. Soon after, Lin Xian said, Rousalong, take that thing out. Chapter 1947. Sure. Since you want evidence, I'll show you. Then Lin Xian said, Rousalong, take that thing out. I've already prepared it. The Crimson Dragon sneered. When the scene happened, they felt that something was wrong. Thus, they directly used memory crystals to record the scene from before. In the next moment, the Crimson Divine Dragon tossed its claw, and a blue crystal floated in the void. It shone brightly and was projected into the void. That's a memory crystal. Huangfu, Qian exclaimed. It seems that the truth is about to be revealed, Yangming said in a deep voice. Sure enough, the projection of the memory crystal replayed the scene of the pink lady tearing her clothes in front of everyone. On the other hand, the faces of the people from the fifth branch darkened. They did not expect the other party to have a memory crystal. I've already given you the evidence you wanted. Now, are you still going to say that I'm the one who molested her? Lin Xian said lightly. The elder was so angry that his body trembled. That was a slap in the face. Humph, what's going on? Morong Qingcheng also shouted coldly. Lu Mingyue's face darkened. Is this what you mean by molesting her? Humph, it seems that you really don't know the rules. Is the law enforcement hall here? Lu Mingyue shouted loudly. Here, in the sky, 3 martial artists in black armor appeared. Their auras were as cold as ice. These 2 disciples framed a distinguished guest and brought shame to the sacred land. Take them away and discipline them. Yes. The 3 martial artists from the law enforcement hall descended and took the pink lady and the green-robed youth away. Elder, save me. The 2 of them screamed, their faces pale. They did not expect this to happen. How dare you? The elder from the 5th branch also shouted angrily. What? You want to violate the sacred land's rules? Lu Mingyue said coldly. Damn it. The elder from the 5th branch gritted his teeth and could only watch as the law enforcement hall took them away. He had no choice. Although he was an elder, he did not dare to openly defy the rules of the Holy Land. The other members of the 5th bloodline were trembling with anger. However, they had no intention of letting Lin Xian off the hook. In the next moment, those people all stared at Lin Xian. The elder from the 5th faction gritted his teeth and said, Those 2 disciples lied about this matter. But what about the matter of this brat injuring my disciple? He openly committed murder in the Holy Land. Such a person must not be allowed to live. However, Lin Xian sneered and said, It's just a spar. Moreover, it was you guys who made the first move. Hearing this, the 5th bloodline was so angry that he coughed up blood. They glared fiercely at Lin Xian, wishing they could beat him up. Really? Spar? All right, I'll spar with you. If I injure you badly, I don't think anyone will blame me, right? At this moment, a young man walked out from the crowd of the fifth bloodline. His black hair reached his shoulders, and his face looked as if it had been carved by a knife. He gave off an unusually sharp feeling. Xiao Qingshan, he's actually going to attack. He's one of the candidate saints. He's powerful and unfathomable. Legend has it that he's not weaker than a true candidate saint. As soon as the black-haired young man came out, the surrounding crowd began to discuss. Xiao Qingshan stood in the void and looked down at Lin Xian. He put his hands behind his back and said indifferently, "Let's do it. We're just sparring. Don't worry, I won't kill you." These words carried a trace of biting, cold killing intent that shook the void. "Ha, this brat is scared. I didn't expect my senior brother, Xiao Qingshan, to attack. Senior brother Xiao, go for it! Cripple him!" The disciples of the fifth bloodline shouted crazily. The elders did not stop them. They also watched with cold smiles on their faces. "What? You think a candidate saint can defeat me?" Lin Xian snorted coldly. "Since you want to spar, I'll grant you your wish." With that, he took a step forward and his aura erupted. His long hair fluttered, and his eyes were like lightning. He was like a peerless divine, sword unsheathed. "You're indeed powerful. However, you're not my match," Xiao Qingshan said coldly in the sky. His eyes contained a trace of disdain. He was one of the candidates of the All Beginnings holy ground. His strength was powerful and unfathomable. His opponent was only a nameless junior. Was he even qualified to fight with him? Whoosh! In the next instant, he stretched out his hand. A cyan flame danced in the center of his palm. The cyan flame was like a divine flame. It illuminated the void and emitted a terrifying aura. Whoosh! Then Xiao Qingshan waved his hand. The cyan flame rushed out of his palm. A green light sprinkled down, and instantly the water in the huge lake below was completely evaporated. The terrifying heat was so intense that even the void couldn't withstand it. Cyan Lotus Flame. Xiao Qingshan actually used Cyan Lotus Flame. It seems like he's determined to kill his opponent. What? That's a flame that only an almighty expert can possess. I didn't expect Xiao Qingshan to possess such a flame. Could it be that he really has strength comparable to a candidate saint? Cries of surprise were heard one after another. Evidently, the cyan flames had caused the surrounding people to be extremely shocked. Boom! Lin Xian quickly counterattacked. He waved his hand. Blue cold air revolved around his palm. A cold palm of ice soared into the sky. Ka! The blue palm was like an ancient iceberg. It streaked across the sky, causing the void to tremble. The power of ice? But it's useless. My cyan lotus flame isn't something you can imagine. Xiao Qingshan had a calm expression. Ordinary ice wouldn't be able to block his cyan lotus flame. His opponent would definitely be burned to ashes by his flames. Boom! But in the next instant, he was stunned. The giant fireball he had shot out was frozen. It turned into a block of ice and fell from the sky. Not only that, but the blue cold ice divine palm's might didn't decrease. It rapidly grabbed at him. How could this be? Xiao Qingshan's expression changed for the first time. He was stunned. He didn't dare to believe his eyes. The surrounding crowd was also stunned. This was especially true for the disciples of the fifth bloodline. They looked as if they had seen a ghost. They hadn't expected Lin Xian to be able to break through the cyan lotus flame so easily. Whoosh! In the sky, Xiao Qingshan's body swayed. He turned into a cyan phantom and flashed rapidly in the void. However, the cold ice divine palm grew bigger and bigger. In the end, it completely enveloped the entire sky. Boom, boom, boom. In an instant, the sky above his head was completely frozen. Xiao Qingshan's body was also wrapped in countless cold air. Get lost! Xiao Qingshan roared. The flames in his body suddenly erupted like a sea of fire. He resisted the cold air around him and quickly broke out of the encirclement. His hair was covered in blue ice. His face was abnormally ferocious. He was furious. He was too furious. His opponent had put him in such a difficult position. This was unforgivable. Chapter 1948. The surrounding warriors were all astonished. Lin Xian's battle prowess was simply too frightening. "Kid, you've completely angered me." Xiao Qingshan's voice was cold. "I just wanted to play with you, but now I've changed my mind." In the next moment, he roared and formed a seal with both hands. Countless green flames gathered in front of him, forming 18 green lotus flowers. Each lotus flower seemed real and carried a terrifying heat. All of them flew toward Lin Xian. Clear lotus burning the sky. "Kid, go to hell." Xiao Qingshan roared and waved his hand quickly. This was his strongest move. Once it was used, the entire sky would be burned clean. No matter how strong the opponent was, they would not be able to resist it. As expected, as soon as the 18 green lotus flowers appeared, the ice in the sky melted instantly. Not only that, the 18 lotus flowers formed a formation and enveloped Lin Xian, trying to refine him. "Clear lotus burning the sky?" Lin Xian sneered. "It's just the light of a firefly. I'll break you now." In the next moment, his eyes turned sharp. The great dragon sword soul was activated quickly, and a long ice sword appeared in front of him. As he swung the sword, a terrifying ice aura filled the air. The sharp sword light cut through the void. Boom, boom, boom. The sword chi slashed down, and the 18 lotus flowers in the sky were all shattered. The terrifying sword light flashed in the sky and slashed toward Xiao Qingshan. "What? They're all shattered. How is this possible?" When the people of the 5th lineage saw this, they went crazy. Those were 18 lotus flowers, a terrifying technique that could burn the heavens. But now it was broken by a sword? This shocked them, and they could not believe it. Xiao Qingshan's expression changed drastically. He did not expect his secret technique to be broken in an instant. Moreover, what frightened him even more was that the sword light was too sharp. It was as if it could cut him in half. "Damn it!" He roared angrily and turned into a bolt of green lightning. He dashed to the left in an instant, trying to dodge the sword. However, just as Xiao Qingshan moved, mysterious runes appeared in Lin Xian's eyes. Then, a cold smile appeared on his face. The ice sword in his hand slashed out once more. This sword directly sealed off Xiao Qingshan's path of retreat and quickly arrived at his side. Xiao Qingshan's face turned green because he couldn't block this sword at all. The terrifying murderous aura caused his entire body to turn cold. He could imagine that the next sword strike would pierce through him. "Elder, save me." At this moment of crisis, Xiao Qingshan could no longer care about his face. He shouted loudly, abnormally frightened. "Humph!" The elder of the 5th branch's face darkened when he saw this. With a wave of her embroidered robe, a red light suddenly turned into a huge mountain, blocking Xiao Qingshan and the terrifying sword chi. Clang! In the next moment, the black, demonic sword collided with the red sleeve, producing an earth-shaking sound. Boom! Boom! In the void, countless cracks appeared, and an energy shockwave blasted Xiao Qingshan away. Puff! Xiao Qingshan's hair was disheveled, and he spat out large mouthfuls of blood. Fortunately, an elder stepped in and saved his life. The surrounding martial artists were dumbfounded. They couldn't believe that the extremely powerful Xiao Qingshan, one of the candidates of the chosen saint, couldn't even block one sword strike from the other party. Who is this person? He's too terrifying. Could it be that he has the strength of a chosen saint? No wonder he could escort Lu Mingyue back to the sacred land. Discussions broke out, but the faces of the people of the fifth branch were terrifyingly dark. This is the genius of your fifth branch? He's so weak that he can't even withstand a single blow. At this moment, Lin Xian said calmly. He stood with his hands behind his back, looking very calm, as if the attack just now was just a casual move to him. Even so, the commotion caused by this was still unbelievable. Kid, you're too arrogant. At this moment, an elder of the fifth branch stood out. His entire body was surging with murderous aura, as if he was the god of death. That's enough. Stop pretending. Aren't you looking for so many reasons just to kill me? Come on, just do it. Lin Xian shouted coldly, completely disregarding the people of the fifth branch. That was because he had absolute confidence in himself and had a strong ability to protect himself. Today he's going to turn the world upside down. Humph! Since you're courting death, I'll fulfill your wish. An elder sneered. Then he stretched out his hand and grabbed at Lin Xian like a monstrous demonic claw. Buzz! Old thing, you alone are not enough. Lin Xian laughed and pulled out the 9 Serenities demonic sword. The aura of his entire body suddenly erupted. The terrifying sword chi was like a divine sword that cut the sky open. Then the monstrous demonic claw was also split open, revealing deep white bones. Ah! The elder of the fifth branch screamed and retreated while holding his palm. His face was unusually ferocious. It was too fierce. He could not withstand this sword technique at all. However, in the next moment, he roared crazily, "Everyone go and kill him!" The surrounding crowd was stunned. They did not expect that even the elder was no match for him. When the people of the fifth branch heard this, they roared and rushed over. In an instant, more than a dozen figures appeared beside Lin Xian. Damn it, how dare you! Seeing this, Lu Mingyue and Murong Qingqing also shouted. Murong Qingqing's beautiful eyes were filled with anger, and she was about to attack. However, Lin Xian transmitted his voice and told her not to attack. He also asked Lu Mingyue to step aside and watch. There was no need for them to participate in today's battle. Facing the dozen people who rushed over, Lin Xian swung his demonic sword. The half-moon demonic sword's aura drew a black moonlight and instantly sent the dozen people flying. Go! However, more people were unable to do so. The battle broke out. In an instant, the mountain peak under their feet was split in half and shattered into countless pieces of gravel. However, in just a moment, the young disciples all vomited blood and were sent flying. None of them could resist. Damn it, he's too strong! Many people screamed, and their eyes were filled with fear. This was because they had never seen such a powerful young man other than the saints. However, the people of the fifth branch were not willing to give up. At this time, 3 elders appeared and surrounded Lin Xian. This scene was simply too shocking. The existence of 3 elders was extremely powerful. Although they were not almighty, they were still the top existences among the 6-star kings. Their combat strength was terrifying. Perhaps only a true saint could resist them. However, with 3 elders attacking together, even an ordinary saint would not be able to resist. Now, such a lineup was actually dealing with a young man. When the other martial artists saw this scene, they started discussing. As for the people from the 5 great holy lands, their brows were tightly furrowed. This scene was truly beyond their expectations. Tuoba Tianzi, the 1000th Thunder Saint, and the other saints and saintesses' eyes were shining. They stared fixedly at Lin Xian because the latter's strength was too frightening. He had definitely reached their level. But how was this possible? Who was he? Why had they never heard of him before? Chapter 1949. Murong Qingqing was extremely worried. Her beautiful eyes were filled with worry. However, Lin Xian had sent her a voice transmission earlier. Thus, she couldn't make a move right now. Moreover, The people from the Jade Lake sacred ground were also holding her back. After all, this matter was related to the All Beginnings Holy Land. If the people from the Jade Lake sacred ground rashly got involved, the impact would be huge. As for Lin Xian, his gaze was like lightning. He looked at the three elders and sneered. Is there no one else in your All Beginnings Holy Land? You actually sent 3 elders to kill a youngster like me? How laughable! How lamentable! Fine. Since no one in the younger generation is my match, I will play with you 3 old fellows. I'd like to see if the 3 of you old fellows are trash as well. After saying that, Lin Xian pointed the demonic sword in his hand at the sky. Suddenly, countless black lightning bolts descended from the sky. It was like a lightning tribulation. Brat, you are courting death. The 3 elders from the 5th bloodline had gloomy expressions. Indeed, with their status, joining hands to deal with a youngster was truly shameful. Moreover, it was in front of so many people. However, there was nothing they could do. Their 5th bloodline's genius, their holy son candidate, had been sent flying by a single sword strike. Apart from him, they couldn't find another youngster who could contend against him. The All Beginnings Holy Son could definitely contend against him. However, the All Beginnings Holy Son wasn't someone from their 5th bloodline. Moreover, he wasn't in the All Beginnings Holy Land right now. Thus, they could only make a move themselves. Even if they were looked down upon, they still had to make a move. After all, Lin Xian's strength and talent were too terrifying. He had reached the Holy Sun level at such a young age. If they didn't eliminate such a person, he would become a disaster for their 5th bloodline in the future. Brat, you are too arrogant. You have injured so many experts of our sacred ground. No matter what, we will not let you leave today. Kneel down and accept your death. 3 furious roars sounded. Then, the 3 elders' eyes blossomed with cold light. Their auras suddenly erupted. They formed 3 king domains and completely sealed off Lin Xian. Lin Xian madly laughed in disdain. 3 shameless old fellows. Isn't it because you are afraid of me? Since you want to fight, bring it on. Kill! Lin Xian roared and took the initiative to attack. Countless rays of sword light appeared in the sky. They were like stars cutting through the void. A bright light shone, illuminating the entire sky. The terrifying sword light instantly enveloped the 3 elders of the 5th branch. You're courting death. The 3 elders of the 5th branch were completely enraged. Their opponent was too arrogant. He wanted to challenge the 3 of them by himself. You really don't know what death is. The surrounding Chosens and Sky Prides were also extremely shocked. The reason for that was because they discovered that Lin Xian was simply too arrogant. This brat is too arrogant. He definitely won't win. Tuoba, Chenzi, gritted his teeth and snorted. Of course not. Each of the 3 elders is comparable to a holy sun. When the 3 of them join forces, their strength is extremely powerful. Even a real holy sun may not be able to contend against them. That brat definitely won't be able to stop it. The myriad thunder saint sun also sneered. Up in the sky, the 3 elders roared furiously. Then one of them counterattacked. He opened his mouth and spat out a blue river. The waves were hundreds of feet high and collided with the sword light in the sky. Boom! 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 Countless shocked voices sounded in the sky. This superpower was too terrifying. However, before they could finish their exclamations, there was a shocking change in the void. The hundreds of feet high wave was split open by the sword, creating a vacuum area. Then, thousands of sword rays swept across and completely shattered it. The terrifying demonic sword whistled, and the shocking rainbow continued to move toward the 3 elders. Humph! The elder who attacked was shocked, while the other 2 elders snorted coldly. Their faces were extremely gloomy. The next moment, Their bodies exuded a powerful chaotic chi that collapsed the void like countless mountains. Buzz! In the sky, a ghostly claw appeared out of thin air like a mountain and clawed downward. The void was instantly torn apart, and a terrifying aura locked onto Lin Xian. On the other side, another elder made his move. A sharp saber light shone like a shocking divine rainbow and quickly slashed down. The two elders attacked together and charged toward Lin Xian. Lin Xian raised his sword to block. The demonic sword flickered and directly shattered the saber light. At the same time, he threw out a punch. The Armageddon Black Dragon Fist turned into a black dragon and blasted toward the terrifying, ghostly claw. Boom! A destructive and violent aura shrouded the sky, causing heaven and earth to shake. The terrifying, ghostly claw was instantly pierced through. In this exchange, both sides were evenly matched. However, this made everyone even more shocked. The previous attack had been launched by two elders together, but Lin Xian had blocked it all by himself. This was too heaven-defying. Damn it, this kid is too evil. Let's attack together and kill him. The three elders looked at each other and finally decided to be shameless and attack together. Whoosh! Whoosh! Elder number 1 moved his hands, and suddenly a terrifying chaotic light shone, forming a huge palm of light that tore through the void. In an instant, the terrifying palm of light charged toward Lin Xian. It was like the palm of a demon king, abnormally terrifying. Not only that, but the entire space was also completely sealed. Elder number 2 roared angrily, and the red light on his body surged into the sky like a volcano erupting. The dazzling light illuminated the entire sky. He struck out a sea of fire. The blazing flames pierced through the void and quickly charged toward Lin Xian. Elder number 3 moved his hands and formed a huge green bell. It kept expanding like a huge mountain, dazzling and eye-catching. On the bell, runes shone. The bell shook gently, and the runes that filled the sky rippled like stars. Boom! The terrifying green bell directly enveloped Lin Xian. The terrifying power blasted black holes in the void. The three elders attacked together, and the momentum was too shocking. Even the saints and saintesses who were watching the battle from afar changed their expressions. Brother Xian. Murong Qingqing was even more nervous because even a saint would have a hard time facing such a terrifying attack. She did not know if Lin Xian could block it. In front, endless light shone, and a terrifying aura shot into the sky. The sky was filled with a sea of fire, and the light of spiritual power burst out together, causing the entire sky to tremble. The countless mountains below were also filled with boulders, as if they would collapse at any time. Kill! Lin Xian also roared angrily. He felt a great threat. One had to know that each of the three elders was comparable to a saint. At this moment, the three of them were indeed very powerful when they joined forces. Therefore, for a moment, a shocking light burst out from his eyes. The great dragon sword soul in his body kept surging, and it let out a dragon's roar. Boom! Countless spiritual energy condensed, and then he raised his hand and struck out a huge furnace. Chapter 1950. That divine furnace was 1,000 feet tall and resembled a blazing divine mountain. There was a vivid and lifelike phoenix carved on it. Heat waves filled the sky, causing large black cracks to appear in the void. In the end, the blazing divine furnace collided with the large green bell. A world-shaking sound rang out, causing everyone's scalp to go numb. Many cultivators fainted on the spot. As for the remaining cultivators, they bitterly persevered. Buzz! 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 More experts shot out rays of light that enveloped the surroundings, preventing them from being hit by the energy shock waves. Resisting the large green bell in the sky, Lin Xian activated Sea God Ice once more. The terrifying power of ice transformed into an ice phoenix that rapidly rushed out of his body and collided with the sea of flames in the sky. As ice and fire collided, a terrifying power filled the entire sky. Lin Xian's fighting spirit sword. Terrifying sword energy soared into the sky. The 9 nether devil sword in his hand slashed out. Sharp sword lights collided with the large palm of light, each strike capable of devouring the heavens and splitting the earth. The four people's battle shook the heavens and the earth, causing the entire world to explode. Not only that, but the terrifying energy also activated the All Beginnings Holy Lands Array Formation. A terrifying array formation emerged, protecting the surrounding mountains and rivers. Who is this brat? He's too terrifying. He can actually contend against the 3 elders for such a long time. Heavens! Could it be that his strength has already surpassed that of a saint? Impossible. What kind of people are saint? They are all world-shaking and peerless geniuses. However, there are also differences in strength between saint. This kid's strength is one of the stronger ones among the Chosens. Sounds of discussion could be heard. It was clear that this scene had left everyone dumbfounded. The 3 elders were also extremely shocked. They couldn't take down the other party in a short period of time. This caused them to lose face. One had to know that the 3 of them had shamelessly joined hands. They originally thought that they could easily kill the other party if they joined hands, but they didn't expect that the other party would be too strong. They could only fight to a draw. Buzz! At this time, a black light suddenly appeared. Like a ghost, it arrived behind Lin Xian. Then, the terrifying gray palm slapped out towards Lin Xian's back. The silhouette appeared. It was also an old man. His hands were covered in gray mist, and he ruthlessly slapped at Lin Xian. Boom! A low voice sounded out, and then countless clouds of fog erupted, covering the area in front of them. It hit. The disciples of the 5th bloodline cheered, while the others cried out in surprise. The myriad Thunder Saint Sun, Tuobotensi, and the others sneered. After being hit by such a violent palm of light, even a saint would be severely injured if not killed. This kid is dead for sure. Murong Qingqing cried out in alarm. His figure flashed, and he was about to make a move, but he was stopped by the people beside him. At this moment, an elder of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground quickly said, "Don't get too excited, his aura is still there." Upon hearing this, Murong Qingqing heaved a sigh of relief. Then he quickly sensed his surroundings. Indeed, she could still sense Lin Xian's aura. This put her at ease. The others also looked over. Naturally, they could also sense Lin Xian's aura. However, in their opinion, even if he did not die, he would be severely injured. Being besieged by 4 elders, even if the saint was severely injured, he would definitely die. The gray mist that filled the sky dissipated, and then the situation inside emerged. But very soon, everyone was stunned. Even their eyeballs were about to fall out. That was because Lin Xian was covered in a layer of cold metal armor. He looked like a god of war, unstoppable. A trace of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, but his aura did not weaken much. How is this possible? He's not seriously injured. Just a minor injury? Damn it, how could this be? How did he block that palm strike? Exclamations were heard. Everyone could not believe it. The gray-robed elder who attacked also narrowed his eyes. His palm was absolutely terrifying. Even the saint could not block it. How did Lin Xian block it? Damn it. There's something wrong with his armor. The 4 elders' faces were unusually gloomy. They did not expect Lin Xian to have such a powerful armor. Humph. Lin Xian also snorted coldly and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. Fortunately, the black armor blocked most of the attack. Otherwise, that palm would definitely have severely injured him. A bunch of shameless old men. How dare you be so shameless? Lin Xian gritted his teeth. 4 elders had attacked him. This was too much pressure for him. Therefore, he summoned the Crimson Dragon. The Crimson Dragon was already furious. As soon as it appeared, it pointed to the front and roared, "Damn you 4 old rookies! Do you have any shame? How old are you? You're at least 5 or 6,000 years old, right? You actually joined forces to attack a young man in his 20s. If I were you, I would have killed myself long ago." The Crimson Dragon howled crazily, and its voice traveled thousands of miles. The 4 elders' faces darkened, and they were so angry that they vomited blood. Where did this beast come from? How dare he spout such nonsense here? F***CK. You're the beast. The Crimson Dragon was furious. It slapped out with its claw. Suddenly, a dark red beast claw appeared in the void and slapped the elder away. Boom! Boom! The elder who spoke arrogantly fell to the ground like a meteor. He smashed the ground into pieces, and a terrifying, deep pit appeared. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. His strength was too terrifying. He was not inferior to the saint at all. They did not expect a demonic beast to be so powerful. Kill! The 2 sides fought again. So far, there was nothing to talk about. The only thing they could do was to defeat each other. Previously, Lin Xian fought 1 against 3, and both sides were tied. Now it was 2 against 4, and the 4 elders were directly suppressed. Regardless of whether it was Lin Xian or the Crimson Dragon, they were not existences that they could imagine. Lin Xian had the Crimson Sword Soul, and his combat strength was abnormally strong. The 4 elders' arms were numb, and their blood was turbulent. The Crimson Dragon was also extremely terrifying. Firstly, he was a divine dragon with a strong physique and many secret techniques. Secondly, he used to be a supreme being. Although his cultivation level had fallen, he had recovered to the level of a 6-star king. He was extremely terrifying. Therefore, he had completely suppressed the 2 elders. Everyone was shocked, and the corners of their mouths twitched. Was he still human? Even the 4 elders working together could not suppress him. Boom! 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 After dozens of moves, the 4 elders were directly blasted away. All of them were seriously injured, and one of the elders was even more miserable. There was a terrifying crack on his shoulder. His bones were exposed, and his body was almost split in half. Boom! 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 At this moment, a few powerful auras came from afar. They were like dark clouds that covered the entire sky. These auras were like gods and demons, and they could only make people tremble. Chapter 1951. At that moment, a few powerful auras came from afar. They were like dark clouds that covered the entire sky. The aura was like that of a god fiend, making people tremble. At that moment, even the saints, saintesses, and sky prides frowned. Almighty! Morong Ching clenched her fists. She did not expect that even the Almighty would appear. Ching, don't do anything. I might have to leave this place early. Don't worry, I can protect myself. Lin Xian quickly sent a voice transmission to Morong Ching when he sensed the aura of the Almighty. Morong Ching nodded. She trusted Lin Xian. Lin Xian then sent a voice transmission to Lu Mingyue. When you become the saintess, remember our agreement. I hope you won't go back on your word. Don't worry, when I become the saintess, I'll definitely thank you. Lu Mingyue also responded. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In the sky, a powerful aura descended as if night had fallen. The terrifying aura made it difficult for everyone to breathe. Finally, 3 figures appeared. They were like demon kings floating in the void. Each of them was unreachable. People could only look up to them. Almighty! That's great, the Almighty is here! The people of the 5th lineage were extremely excited and cheered. This is the Almighty of the 5th lineage. He's their elite. Now that their Almighty was here, They could definitely crush the other party. Young man, you've gone too far. One of the Almighty in purple spoke. His voice was like heavenly thunder rolling over. Capture him now and come back with me. His voice was low and there was an unquestionable tone to it. What a joke. Who are you? Why should I go back with you? Even in the face of an Almighty, Lin Xian was not afraid at all. The surrounding martial artists were stunned. They could not believe what they had just heard. Is this kid crazy? How dare he defy an Almighty? The people of the fifth lineage sneered. Haha, this kid is dead for sure. How dare he provoke an Almighty? He's definitely going to die. Indeed, in the sky, the Almighty in purple frowned when he heard Lin Xian's words. He coldly snorted, "Reckless fool!" In the next moment, he stretched out a finger and pressed it downward. From the looks of it, it was as if an adult was going to crush an ant to death. A finger fell and then became bigger. In the end, it was like a divine pillar that reached the heavens, descending from the sky. Mysterious runes appeared on his finger, emitting a terrifying aura. The sea of clouds in the sky was pierced through, and countless cracks appeared. The entire void shattered like a mirror. In an instant, the terrifying heaven-piercing finger arrived above Lin Xian and was about to mercilessly descend. Ah! Lin Xian roared. The 9 Hell Devil sword in his hand quickly grew bigger, turning into a huge, pitch-black devil sword. Boom! Then he waved the huge demonic sword. The demonic sword in his hand seemed to have turned into a black dragon. It bared its fangs and brandished its claws, roaring ferociously. The sword light soared into the sky and collided with the Tongtian palm. Boom! Boom! There was a huge explosion in the sky, and the sky was filled with dazzling lights. Endless clouds surged like waves. Everyone kept retreating because they could not withstand the aftermath at all. Arrays appeared in the surrounding mountains and rivers. They kept flickering and resisting the terrifying energy storm. A pitch-black hole appeared in the sky at the center. It gradually expanded as if it was going to devour the entire space. Crack! Crack! Following that, under everyone's shocked gazes, cracks began to appear on the finger that connected the heavens and the earth, and they quickly spread all over it. Crack! Finally, it exploded into pieces with a crisp sound. What? The attack of the Almighty was blocked? How is that possible? Everyone was stunned. They could not believe it at all. The 1,000 Thunder Saint Sun and Tuoba Tianzi even widened their eyes, especially the 1,000 Thunder Saint Sun. He was a saint, but even he could not compete with a true Almighty. But now a nameless kid in front of him had blocked the attack of an Almighty. That was an Almighty with extraordinary means. His strength was at least at the level of a 7-star king. He was definitely above everyone else. Even so, he was still blocked. In the air, the purple-clothed Almighty's face was gloomy. This scene was also beyond his expectations. Bang! 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 Lin Xian kept retreating. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. He was injured by this attack. However, he had also blocked that terrifying finger. However, he still looked up to the sky and laughed. What Almighty? You're just Hessa. If you dare to stop me today, I'll kill you all the same. Lin Xian's cold voice resounded in all directions. It was as if he was the god of death. Humph! You're courting death. The purple-clothed Almighty was furious. He did not use his full strength in the previous attack at all. In his opinion, the other party was just an ant that was not worthy of his full strength. But now the other party was so arrogant. He even provoked him. He could not stand it, so he decided to kill the other party again. Boom! He flicked 2 fingers, which turned into a huge flood dragon that hovered in the air. It formed a terrifying energy storm that charged toward Lin Xian. This attack was too terrifying. It was so powerful that it could kill any expert below the Almighty. Boom! Lin Xian roared as the great dragon, sword soul in his body, circulated to the extreme. He waved the demonic sword to resist. There was another earth-shattering explosion. Then the two flood dragons were shattered. However, Lin Xian's body was also sent flying thousands of miles away. What? It shattered again. Everyone was stunned. If the previous time was a coincidence and the Almighty did not use his full strength, how could they explain this time? Although Lin Xian was sent flying and injured, he did not die. This meant that he could fight against the Almighty. Thinking of this, they did not dare to believe it. Ha 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 ha, you want to kill me? Impossible. Lin Xian sneered. His black hair fluttered in the wind. The black armor on his body emitted a cold light. It was this armor that blocked most of the Almighty's attack. Almighty, you're very arrogant. Then you can try to take my sword. Lin Xian blocked 2 consecutive attacks from the Almighty and finally decided to take the initiative to attack. What? He's going to attack the Almighty. Heavens, is he crazy? What a reckless guy. Does he really think that he can fight against the Almighty just because he blocked 2 attacks from the Almighty? Just wait and see. He will definitely be killed. The people of the 5th lineage snorted. In the crowd, Tuoba Tianxi and the Thousand Thunder Saint gritted their teeth because they could not accept the fact that the Almighty was stronger than them. Buzz! On Lin Xian's side, the Dragon Sword Realm was displayed. Tens of thousands of sword lights quickly gathered. Then they merged with the demonic sword. Then he slashed out with his sword. The shocking sword light flashed in the air and turned into a light wave that quickly rushed toward the Almighty. You're overestimating yourself. The Almighty in purple sneered disdainfully with a trace of contempt in his eyes. He did not think that the Almighty could really fight against him. Therefore, he stretched out his palm and grabbed forward. His expression was as if he was pinching an ant. Chapter 1952. However, when he felt the sharp sword light, his expression finally changed. Because this sword light was too sharp, it made him feel a sense of pain. Poof! The sword light flashed, and then blood spurted out and dripped into the void. The palm of the mighty figure in purple was cut open, revealing deep white bones. Ah, damn it! The mighty figure in purple was furious. He clenched his fist and crushed the shocking sword light. However, he was still injured. The wound on his palm could not be healed at all. There was still the remnant aura of the great dragon, Sword Soul, on it. He really injured the mighty figure. Seeing the bloody scene, the surrounding people were all stunned. What kind of person was this? He was too fierce. The people of the 5th lineage could not believe it. As for the myriad Thunder Sage and Tuoba Tianxi, they trembled and almost fell from the sky. This kind of strength had definitely surpassed them. Kid, you have completely angered me. The mighty figure in purple looked ferocious. Being injured by an ant made him lose face. Therefore, in the next moment, he roared and his aura suddenly erupted. A terrifying light flashed around him, and then flames gushed out from the sky, forming an extremely terrifying scene. Boom! 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 Golden light flashed, and then golden lotuses quickly appeared in the void with monstrous flames. They were like divine spears, shining brightly. The sky was full of golden lotuses, like golden flames floating in the air, covering the entire sky. Domain, this is the mighty figure's domain. He actually used his own domain. It seemed that the mighty figure in purple wanted to kill Lin Xian. He wanted to kill him in one move. Kid, go to hell. The mighty figure in purple sneered and waved his hand. Suddenly, countless golden lotuses in the sky turned into golden sword rainbows and rushed toward Lin Xian. Looking at the golden lotuses in the sky, Lin Xian's expression was grave. This attack made him feel that his life was in danger. He did not dare to be careless and raised his combat strength to the extreme. The great dragon sword soul rotated quickly in his body, emitting a cold light. Not only that, sword chi quickly appeared on the surface of the black armor, forming a sword chi battle armor. The double layer of defense greatly increased Lin Xian's defensive capabilities. This time, Lin Xian gripped the nine-held devil sword with both hands. The pitch-black, demonic sword shone with an icy cold radiance. Soon after, it expanded rapidly and eventually turned into a demonic sword that was 1,000 feet long. Chop! The giant sword, which was hundreds of meters long, slashed down. The terrifying power and the attack intertwined in the air. The entire sky was completely blown apart. The dazzling golden lotuses were also impacted. The two collided and destroyed each other. However, there were simply too many golden lotuses. Many of them still managed to get close to Lin Xian. Boom! Boom! The golden lotus and Lin Xian's sword chi collided with each other, creating a dazzling light. Then the golden lotus tore apart the sword chi and smashed onto the black battle armor. Immediately, Lin Xian spat out large mouthfuls of blood. His body flew out. Seeing this, Murong Qingcheng exclaimed. Her eyes were filled with concern. On the other hand, the myriad Thunder Saint, Tuoba Tianxi, and the people of the fifth bloodline were laughing maniacally. They knew that Lin Xian was doomed this time. However, Lin Xian roared. Golden runes shone in his eyes, making him look extremely mysterious. Suddenly, a dragon-shaped sword shadow burst out from his body, protecting his body. At this moment, Lin Xian's aura increased again. Damn it! Impossible. This kid is still severely injured. How can his strength increase? The people of the fifth bloodline looked as if they had seen a ghost. They could not believe it. The others were also stunned. This scene was completely beyond their understanding. Only the Crimson Dragon laughed wildly. Ha 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 ha, the dragon soul has been activated. What a blessing in disguise. Kid, let's fight. Let them know the power of the great dragon, Sword Soul. Sure enough, the great dragon Sword Soul appeared and surrounded Lin Xian. It kept extending. In the end, it even covered the demonic sword and Lin Xian's arm completely. At this moment, Lin Xian looked extraordinary. A true dragon coiled around his body, and his powerful aura tore the sky and the earth. The golden lotuses around him were also blasted away in an instant. Many of them were directly split by the sword chi. This kind of majestic scene shocked everyone. In the air, a large area of golden lotuses were destroyed. The terrifying sword chi rushed through the entire sky and quickly attacked the mighty figure in purple. Humph! The mighty figure in purple snorted. He did not expect that not only was his opponent not dead, but his combat strength had also increased. Even he was shocked by this combat strength. In the next moment, he clapped his palms. The purple palm shadows were like two purple mountains, swaying rapidly in the air. They blasted onto the sword chi. Boom! 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 Many sword chi were slapped away. However, the mighty figure in purple was also shocked. Because his arm was already numb from the shock, the power of this sword chi was much stronger than before. Even he had to deal with it carefully. Kill! Lin Xian roared. The nine-nethered demonic sword in his hand expanded once more, becoming a giant sword that was thousands of feet long. Then it mercilessly slashed down. In the sky, the phantom of a true dragon formed and quickly swept out. Pum! This time, the mighty figure in purple was finally sent flying. The void shattered. The mighty figure in purple was sent flying, leaving behind a pool of blood in the sky. As for the surrounding crowd, they were all stunned. Heavens, what did they just see? A puny little king sent a mighty figure flying. This is really too shocking. Ah, damn it, I'm going to kill you. The mighty figure in purple flew over from afar and instantly arrived in front of Su Xiaoshou. The baleful aura on his body soared to the sky. He was like a killing god. But at the same time, the other two mighty figures could no longer watch. They took a step forward and formed a triangle, firmly surrounding Lin Xian. Brat, it's over. Although you're very strong and have heaven-defying talent, you're too stupid. The All-Beginnings Holy Land is not something you can provoke. So what if you're strong? Since ancient times, there has never been a lack of geniuses. It's just that there are very few geniuses that can survive. You're also nothing. The three mighty figures' voices were ice cold. The killing intent on their bodies formed a cage that enveloped Lin Xian. In the next instant, the three of them attacked together. Their powerful strength instantly caused the sky to explode. No, Murong Qingqing cried out in alarm. She wanted to rush forward and save Lin Xian. However, she was stopped by the elder of the Jade Lake Holy Land. There were three mighty figures in front of her. With their berserk auras, even Murong Qingqing wouldn't be able to do anything if she went forward. Instead, she might be killed. Damn it! Lu Mingyue's expression turned gloomy as she watched this scene. After all, Lin Xian had helped her a lot. She didn't expect that he would be killed now. Ha ha ha! Who asked this brat to be so arrogant? He's finally dead. He dares to oppose my fifth bloodline? He's truly reckless. The martial artists of the fifth bloodline sneered. Chapter 1953. How dare you go against the fifth branch? You're courting death. The warriors from the fifth branch sneered. Ha 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 ha, this brat was so arrogant. Now, he's finally dead. How dare you go against the fifth branch? You're courting death. The warriors from the fifth branch sneered. Humph! In the distance, Tuoba Tianxi and the Thousand Thunder Sage also revealed a ferocious look. Great, this brat is finally dead. Otherwise, it would be a huge pressure for them if the other party was still alive. Boom! However, at this time a low voice suddenly came from the huge energy storm and black hole in front of them. Then more and more cracks appeared in the space, like a spider web crawling into the distance. Accompanying it was an aura that made people's hearts palpitate, as if a peerless divine beast had crawled out of the black hole. What's going on? Why do I feel so uneasy? The elders from the fifth branch looked extremely solemn. Their hearts were thumping as if the thing in front of them was a huge threat to them. Not to mention these people, even the three Almighties frowned. They also felt a chill down their spines. Boom! In the next moment, a huge burst of energy erupted and a powerful storm swept in all directions. Then the black hole, terrifying cracks and bright light in the sky were all blasted away. A pitch-black, quaint spaceship was suspended in the sky. It was covered with sword marks and saber scars, emitting a strong, desolate aura. What's that? Everyone looked at the pitch-black spaceship in shock. It's a spirit boat. Yes, it's a spirit boat, but it doesn't look like an ordinary one. The aura on it is too strange. Why does it seem like an ancient object? At this moment, everyone stared in front of them, bewildered. The three Almighties frowned even more. As Almighties, their perception was more certain. That hair-raising and heart-pounding feeling from before had come from this black spirit boat. Humph! The attack of three Almighties is nothing more than this. At this moment, a cold voice came from the black spirit boat. Hearing this voice, many people were stunned because they were very familiar with this voice. It belonged to Lin Xian. What? How is it possible? That brat is not dead? Damn it, I don't believe it. That's the attack of three Almighties. Even a top saint wouldn't be able to withstand it. How could he possibly withstand it? Not to mention a saint, even an Almighty, would not be able to withstand the combined attack of three Almighties. The people of the fifth branch were going crazy. The surrounding people were also discussing animatedly, their faces full of shock. Damn it, could it be that there's something wrong with that spirit boat? In the next moment, Everyone stared at the black spirit boat in front of them. Tuoba Tianxi and the 10,000 lightning, holy suns, faces twisted. Ouyang Mingfei, Huang Fuqian, and even Lu Mingyue were shocked. As for Murong Qingqian, she let out a sigh of relief as a smile appeared on her face. He recognized that black spaceship. It was the Black Earth. Previously, she had taken the Black Earth ship with Lin Xian from the Sky Martial Continent to the True Spirit Continent. Murong Qingqian knew a little about the terror of the Black Earth. However, it required too much energy to activate the Black Earth ship. He did not expect that Lin Xian would be able to activate it now. Inside the Black Earth ship, Lin Xian was wearing battle armor, and his face was somewhat pale. In front of him stood the Crimson Dragon, and beside him was a floating Black Earth. There was a small formation in front of him. Inside were 2 divine crystals that flickered with light and were embedded in grooves. Even if Lin Xian was strong, he would not be able to withstand the combined attack of 3 Almighties, unless he became a true Almighty. But now he was only a 5-star king. Therefore, at the critical moment, Lin Xian activated the Black Earth ship. With the powerful defense of the Black Earth ship, the attacks of the 3 Almighties naturally could not cause any harm to it. Outside, the 3 Almighties' expressions were incomparably cold. Their gazes were like sharp blades as they stared at the Black Earth ship in front of them. The 3 of them looked at each other and attacked again in the next moment. They could not tolerate an ant daring to be so arrogant in front of them. Ice River, roar! The purple-robed Almighty roared towards the sky. Boundless icy aura burst forth from his body, forming a storm that filled the sky, as if it was going to freeze the entire world. The terrifying ice storm quickly rushed towards the Black Earth ship. Doomsday banishment. The other Almighty waved his hands, creating a mysterious trajectory. Suddenly, the void was torn apart as countless huge lightning bolts descended, drowning the Black Earth ship. The lightning bolts were powerful as they continuously attacked the Black Earth ship. The terrifying energy directly drowned the front. Sword of the Wind God. The 3rd Almighty roared as a gust of wind gathered in his hand, forming a gust of wind sword. It was 100 feet long and slashed down fiercely on the Black Earth ship. Clang, 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 clang. An earth-shattering sound rang out as the void in front of them split open again. A huge crack appeared, as if it was a sky-devouring beast completely swallowing the Black Earth ship. Humph! The 3 Almighties snorted as their eyes flickered as they looked forward. Behind them, the people from the 5th lineage sneered. Humph, it's time for him to die. I don't believe that he can resist. There's no way he can resist. No one can resist the full strength of 3 Almighties. Many people revealed ferocious expressions, but in the next moment they were all stunned. Even the 3 Almighties were dumbfounded as if they couldn't believe it. The huge black hole in front of them quickly disappeared, and the terrifying crack gradually healed. All the energy storm dissipated, and there, the black ship floated in the void, exactly the same as before. There wasn't even a trace of a scar on it. How is this possible? Everyone subconsciously shook their heads, thinking that their eyes were playing tricks on them. They rubbed their eyes hard and found that it was really the case. The 3 terrifying attacks didn't even leave a trace of a scar on the spirit ship. Damn it! How is this possible? That was the full strength attack of 3 Almighties. Impossible! What grade is this spirit ship? How can it be so strong? Even a top-grade, Earth-grade spirit ship doesn't have such a defense, right? For a moment, everyone was dumbfounded. In the Black Earth ship, Lin Xian snorted coldly. Hey, too, can we attack? These 3 old fools were too despicable. With the current number of divine crystals, we can attack, but it's only 1 attack. After 1 attack, the energy will be extinguished. I'm afraid we won't be able to leave even if we want to. Isn't there a formation? Open the formation and absorb the energy from the outside world. We can absorb the energy from the outside world, but it can only maintain the balance. He too shook his head, but then said, although the Black Earth ship can't be used as a mechanic, it's not impossible to kill almighties. You have other methods? Lin Xian was surprised. Chapter 1954. Hearing Lin Xian's words, He too shook his head, but then he said, although the Black Earth can attack, it's not impossible to kill a supreme being. Oh, you have another method? Lin Xian was surprised. What method? He asked. If he could kill a supreme being, that would be great. He could kill the other party's arrogance. Of course. Don't forget, there are still many powerful corpses in the Black Earth. Those were the corpses of invincible kings. They were incomparably terrifying. If he could stimulate their killing intent, even a supreme being wouldn't be able to withstand it. Is it easy to operate? Lin Xian asked. No problem, but he would need to waste some divine crystals. He too said, you just need to set up a formation and guide it. Okay. Lin Xian nodded. He still had a lot of divine crystals in his hands, so he could kill 1 or 2 supreme beings. He was furious. These 3 supreme beings were taking advantage of their seniority to attack him with all their strength. Fortunately, he had the Black Earth. Otherwise, he would be in danger today. Now that he had a chance to take revenge, he had to take it. In the next moment, Lin Xian's cold voice sounded again, echoing in entire space. All beginnings, Holy Land? What a big deal. 3 mighty figures are chasing after a mere king. You guys are really shameless. You guys are shameless to the extreme. However, do you really think that I'm easy to bully? Today, I'll go against the heavens and kill a supreme being. Humph. The 3 supreme beings snorted coldly. When they heard the last part, disdain appeared in their eyes. The cultivators of the 5th bloodline behind them discussed animatedly, their faces full of mockery. What did he say? He actually wants to kill a supreme being? What a joke! Who does he think he is? He's just relying on a spirit boat to temporarily save his life. What's there to be arrogant about? What was there to be arrogant about? Murong Qingqing couldn't bear to listen anymore. She said coldly, as far as I know, that young master is only in his 20s, and his cultivation is only a 5-star king. However, his combat strength has reached the level of a holy sun, and he's a peak existence among the holy suns. Not only that, but he can even fight against powerful beings. Can you do that? Shut up if you can't do it. Hearing this, the people of the 5th bloodline lost their temper. Indeed, they were just talking. The other party's strength was stronger than their saint of all beginnings. Even in the eastern wilderness, there weren't many people of the same generation as him. Moreover, it was Murong Qingqing who said it, so they could not refute him. After all, Murong Qingqing was also a holy maiden. Her status was absolutely transcendent, and it was not something they could resist. Therefore, the people from the 5th bloodline could only shut their mouths, their faces dark with anger. There were even a few elders who were so angry that they vomited blood. Damn it, I'm so angry! Several elders roared towards the sky. However, at this moment, another change occurred in front of him. Up ahead, the Black Earth suddenly emitted a jet-black light that enveloped the purple-robed mighty figure. Whoosh! Then the purple-robed almighty figure disappeared into the void. Damn it! What happened? The other 2 mighty figures were also stunned. They had no idea what had happened. The surrounding people were in an uproar because it happened too quickly. The purple-robed lord had disappeared in an instant. They did not react at all. By the time they reacted, he was already gone. Buzz! Inside the Black Earth, a light flashed and the purple-robed mighty figure appeared. Boom! The purple-robed mighty figure was also very surprised. He felt that he was enveloped by a terrifying spatial power, and then his entire body disappeared. When he reappeared, he instantly activated the battle armor in his body. A set of purple armor appeared and enveloped his entire body. The next moment, he looked around cautiously. When he found that he was inside the spirit ship and saw Lin Xian and the others in front of him, he immediately laughed proudly. Ha 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 ha. Kid, you really don't know what's good for you. How dare you bring me here? I was thinking that I couldn't break the spirit ship's defense, so how could I deal with you? I didn't expect you to take the initiative to come to me. He was simply too happy because the black spirit boat was too strange. The three of them couldn't even break it with their hands. He originally thought that he could not kill the other party today, but he did not expect the other party to drag him into the spirit ship. This way, he had absolute confidence that he could kill the other party. Humph. You still want to kill me? I'll kill you first today. Lin Xian snorted coldly, then said, Black Earth, do it! You still want to fight me? You don't know what's good for you. The purple-robed mighty figure laughed wildly. He lowered his palm and was about to charge over. However, He too quickly set up a formation. Suddenly, countless mysterious runes lit up on the ground in front of him and enveloped the purple-robed mighty figure. Not only that, a huge figure appeared in front of him. Retreat! At the same time, Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon quickly retreated. They came to a secret room inside the Black Earth and watched quietly. Insignificant skill. You want to stop me with a formation? The purple-robed mighty figure looked at the runes around him and sneered disdainfully. However, in the next moment he was stunned. His body even began to tremble. That was because a figure appeared in front of him. A 2-meter-tall figure stood there, cold as ice like a statue. He exuded a frosty aura like a god looking down on all living beings. Damn it! Who is this? There was someone else in the spirit ship. The purple-robed mighty figure was terrified because the aura emitted by the other party made him feel a trace of fear. He had never experienced such fear before. I don't care who you are, you'll die. The purple-robed mighty figure roared and struck out with both palms. His terrifying palms carried a shocking force as they blasted toward the statue-like figure in front of him. What an idiot! In the secret room, Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon sneered when they saw this scene. That statue-like figure was none other than the corpse of an invincible king. Such an invincible king was extremely terrifying. Even though he was dead, his aura was still terrifying. It was definitely not something an ordinary mighty figure could withstand. Boom! Sure enough, in the next moment, the purple-robed mighty figure's palm struck the invincible king's corpse, producing a sonorous sound. His palm did not cause any damage at all, but it stimulated the murderous aura in the invincible king's body. Buzz, buzz, buzz! Countless murderous auras surged out like a flood, turning into divine rainbows that pierced in all directions. Poof! The purple-robed mighty figure was the first to bear the brunt. He felt the rainbow-like light and was terrified. He wanted to block it. Chapter 1955. Immediately, the armor on the purple-clothed mighty figure shone with a dazzling light. However, it was useless. Those divine rainbows instantly pierced through the purple-clothed mighty figure's body like cutting beams. Damn it! How is this possible? The purple-clothed mighty figure's eyes widened. He looked at the dozen or so wounds on his body in shock. What kind of attack could kill him in an instant? Who was that figure in front of him? Why was he even more terrifying than a peerless mighty figure? Plop! The purple-clothed mighty figure fell to the ground before he could figure it out. In front of this murderous aura, the purple-clothed mighty figure was killed without any ability to resist. Inside the secret chamber, Lin Xian also gasped. These invincible kings were too terrifying. They had been dead for so long, but the murderous aura in their bodies was still so terrifying. He really wondered how powerful they were when they were alive. Moreover, this was only a king. It was said that there were saints above kings, and above saints were unparalleled emperors. How terrifying was the combat strength of a great emperor! It was simply unimaginable. It wasn't until a long time later that the murderous aura in the hall disappeared. He, too, activated the array formation and moved the corpse of the invincible king away. In the next moment, Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon walked out. They looked at the purple-clothed mighty figure's corpse and sneered. Then Lin Xian took off the purple-clothed mighty figure's storage ring. Outside, everyone was panicking because some time had passed. The purple-clothed mighty figure still hadn't appeared, which made them a little worried. However, one of the mighty figures spoke. "Don't worry, no matter how strong that kid is, it's impossible for him to kill a mighty figure. He doesn't have that strength at all." That's right, the strength of a mighty figure is extremely terrifying. Furthermore, the purple-clothed mighty figure has a powerful armor and many secret techniques and treasures in his hands. He can definitely protect himself. He might even succeed in killing the other party. Hearing these words, the people of the fifth lineage heaved a sigh of relief. Then they all sneered. "That's right. Who does that kid think he is? How dare he fight against a mighty figure? Just wait, he'll be killed soon." Discussions broke out one after another. However, at this moment, the void fluctuated and a figure appeared. He appeared. Everyone was extremely excited as they looked over. Then, the void split open and a purple figure appeared. It was the purple-robed, mighty figure from before. However, the mighty figure in purple no longer had any vitality. There were more than a dozen bull-sized wounds on his body. Terrifying blood dripped down from the void. What? How is this possible? When everyone saw this scene, their scalps went numb. They couldn't believe it. As for the two Almighties, they cried out in alarm. Like lightning, they arrived in front of the purple-robed mighty figure. In the next moment, he extended his soul spirit and carefully inspected it. Soon they screamed, "Killed! This is impossible!" What? He was killed! The people of the fifth bloodline went crazy, and the surrounding people were even more terrified. A mighty figure was killed. This was truly a shocking matter. Moreover, he had been killed by a 5-star king. No matter how he listened to it, it sounded like a fantasy story, an impossible thing. But now, it had truly appeared before them. Impossible! This is absolutely impossible. I must be dreaming. The fifth bloodline's elder went mad, unable to accept this. Damn it, how is this possible? That's a mighty figure. How could that kid kill him? The other disciples of the fifth bloodline also shouted crazily as if they had gone mad. This can't be true. The Thousand Thunder Saint and Tooba Tianzi also kept shaking their heads with a hint of fear in their eyes. Even Lu Mingyue was shocked, let alone them. Murong Qingqing's beautiful eyes widened. Even the elders of the 5 sacred lands next to her were stunned. That was because this scene was too shocking. A mighty figure was beyond ordinary kings and was abnormally powerful. Below the mighty figure level, very few people could kill a mighty figure. But now, the young man in front of them had done it. Moreover, the other party was only a 5-star king. That was too shocking. Ah! Damn it, kid, I'm going to kill you. Among them, a green-robed mighty figure roared crazily. His gaze was as sharp as a blade as he slashed forward. He stared at the black spirit boat. Kill me? Fine, I'll give you a chance. Lin Xian's cold voice came from the spirit boat. In the next moment, a black light turned into a shocking lightning bolt and instantly enveloped the green-robed mighty figure. Buzz! In an instant, the green-robed mighty figure's body also disappeared into the void. Seeing that, the people of the fifth bloodline were extremely nervous. That was because when the purple-robed mighty figure was killed earlier, he had disappeared into thin air. When he came out, he had already become a corpse. Now that the green-robed mighty figure was also enveloped, who knew what the consequences would be? They did not dare to imagine. The surrounding martial artists and the people of the 5 sacred lands also held their breaths. Because if the green-robed mighty figure was killed, it would be a huge blow to the sky. A 5-star king killing 2 mighty figures in a row would definitely shock the entire eastern wilderness. Everyone waited nervously. Not long after, a green figure appeared in the void. It was the green-robed mighty figure from before. What? He's killed again! When everyone saw this scene, they were all stunned. The people of the fifth bloodline were so angry that they vomited blood. Their faces darkened as they roared crazily. That was because the green-robed mighty figure was also killed. No, who can tell me what's going on? The people of the fifth bloodline roared crazily. The others were also dumbfounded. To be able to kill 2 almighties in a row, what kind of technique was that? Unless it was a peerless mighty figure. Could it be that there was a peerless mighty figure in this spirit boat? Thinking of that, they were extremely terrified. Whoosh! The last surviving mighty figure turned into a bolt of lightning and fled into the distance. That was because he did not dare to stay here any longer. If he was hit by a black light, he would also disappear. Once he entered the spirit boat, one could imagine his fate. It would definitely be very miserable. Therefore, he still fled in advance. Ha! What mighty figure! What a piece of trash! Seeing that the other party had fled, Lin Xian sneered disdainfully. The scalps of the surrounding people went numb, and the people of the fifth bloodline were so angry that they vomited blood. Shameful! This was too shameful. In their sacred land, their main battlefield, and they had sent out 3 mighty figures, but they could not do anything to the other party. Even the 2 mighty figures on their side were killed by the other party. That was definitely a shocking slap in the face, and they were speechless. Damn, that kid, he's too strange. There must be something incredible in this spirit boat. Hurry up and invite the peerless mighty figure of the fifth bloodline. Many people exclaimed, especially the people of the fifth bloodline. They were really crazy, because now ordinary mighty figures could not suppress the situation at all. They had to invite a peerless mighty figure to kill the other party. They had to seize the black spirit boat. Chapter 1956. Boom, boom, boom. In the distance, a thunderous sound suddenly erupted from the fifth bloodline's mountain peak. Then, multicolored light surged into the sky. The entire sky was dyed red. A figure appeared in the sky. The aura on his body was like a wave, rapidly beating in all directions. Ancestor. Seeing that figure, the people of the fifth bloodline became excited again. They all knelt in the sky, because the person who had appeared was none other than their fifth bloodline's peerless almighty. The other cultivators were also shocked. Murom Chingcheng also became nervous. Although she knew that the Black Earth was powerful, she didn't know if it could contend against a peerless almighty. However, she guessed that Lin Xian should be preparing to leave. Indeed, Lin Xian was preparing to leave. Although the Black Earth was powerful, it could only protect itself. His current divine crystals couldn't contend against a peerless almighty unless he had more energy. Only then could he contend against a peerless almighty. All beginnings holy land? The fifth bloodline is only SOSO. Not only are the younger ones useless, but the older ones are also trash. Since there are no challenges, this young master will be leaving. Lin Xian coldly snorted. Then, the black earth shone brightly and prepared to take off. However, at this moment, the peerless almighty in the distance took a step forward and instantly arrived in front of them. His speed was too fast. It was no different from teleportation. Seeing this scene, everyone was shocked. As expected of a peerless almighty, his strength far surpassed ordinary almighties. Just this terrifying speed alone was something that the almighties present couldn't catch. You want to leave? How is that possible? You killed 2 of my 5th bloodlines, almighties, and you want to leave just like that? Don't you think you're too naive? What naive? Am I not naive when I was killed by you? Only you can kill others, but others can't kill you. What kind of logic is that? Lin Xian coldly snorted, now that he was inside the black earth. He didn't fear a peerless almighty at all. Therefore he coldly said, "Old man, I advise you to get lost quickly. Otherwise, if you anger me, I can't guarantee that I won't kill you." Hearing this, many people almost fell from the sky. Insolent, this was too insolent. A puny 5-star king actually dared to threaten to kill a peerless almighty? After hearing this, the peerless almighty sneered in disdain. "Little doll, do you know what a peerless expert is? Do you know what realm an almighty strength has reached? Don't think that you can strut around just because you have a powerful spirit boat. If I want to crush you to death, all I need is one look." Just a look? Do you think you're very powerful? How old are you? What's your strength? What age am I? What's my strength? If we fight at the same level, I can guarantee that I'll kill you like a dog. Lin Xian's voice resounded in the air. "You're courting death. Brat, you're too arrogant. You actually dare to speak to a peerless almighty like that? Hurry up and slap him." The members of the 5th bloodline roared in anger. They would not allow anyone to insult the peerless almighty of their 5th bloodline. However, Lin Xian sneered, "I'm arrogant? You guys are too ignorant. Do you really think that you can do whatever you want just because you're a peerless almighty? All right, let me ask you, how old is your peerless almighty this year?" "I'm 3,200 years old." The peerless almighty snorted coldly. Lin Xian sneered, 3,200 years old, and you're only a peerless almighty. Then let me ask you, I'm 24 years old this year. I want to know, how strong were you when you were 24 years old? Were you able to fight against a mighty and stand at the top of the saints? Humph. Hearing this, the peerless almighty snorted coldly, and his expression darkened. Meanwhile, the others were silent. From the looks of it, the peerless almighty probably couldn't reach Lin Xian's level when he was 24 years old. At this moment, an elder of the 5th bloodline sneered, "You're powerful now, but so what? A genius who hasn't grown up is nothing in the end. Who knows if you can live to 3,000 years old? What's the point of saying so much? Let me ask you, can you reach my combat power when you're 24 years old?" Seeing that the elder was silent, Lin Xian sneered, "If you can't, then I don't know what you have to be so arrogant about. I started practicing martial arts when I was 15 years old, and I'm 24 years old now. It's been less than 10 years. I started from the very beginning, and now I can fight against a mighty, but it's only been less than 10 years. I'm confident that I won't need 3,000 years. Give me another 10 years, and I'll become a peerless almighty. By then I'll kill you like a dog." What? Started at 15 years old, and now it's been less than 10 years? Heavens, how is that possible? Bulsh asterisk T. He must be Bulsh asterisk Ting. Even the saints and saintesses of the sacred grounds and the peerless elites of the clan of the ancients couldn't have started practicing martial arts when they were 15 years old. Furious roars sounded from the surroundings. They simply did not believe Lin Xian's words. Even the top elites of the eastern wilderness started practicing martial arts when they were 5 or 6 years old. Even the peerless elites of the clan of the ancients were soaked in all sorts of heavenly treasures and peerless elixirs when they were born. They built a solid foundation from a young age. There were even peerless almighties who helped them unblock their meridians. It could be said that they started practicing martial arts from the moment they were born. In addition, those people had incredible talents and top-notch resources. That was why these elites were able to show their talents when they were 20 or 30 years old. They had great power that surpassed the older generation. Even so, they had cultivated for 20 to 30 years, or even 40 to 50 years. However, the young man in front of them had started practicing martial arts when he was 15 years old, and now he was 24 years old. He had surpassed most of the elites. That was unbelievable, because they had never heard of such a thing before. Moreover, what shocked them even more was that the young man had said that he would become a peerless almighty within 10 years. How was that possible? Compared to the young man who started practicing martial arts when he was 15 years old, his combat power was even more incredible. A peerless almighty was an extremely terrifying existence. Didn't they see that the peerless almighty in front of them was already 3,200 years old? He had cultivated for more than 3,000 years to become a peerless almighty. But the young man wanted to become a peerless almighty within 10 years. That was definitely a joke. Moreover, it was an impossible joke. Kid, you're too ignorant. Do you really think that peerless almighties are cabbages? I bet that you'll never become a peerless almighty in your lifetime. That's right. Who the hell do you think you are? How dare you say such big words? Ha ha ha, this is hilarious. Disdainful voices rang out one after another. Even Tuoba Tianzi and 1,000 Thunder Saint had mocking looks on their faces. The young man wanted to become a peerless almighty within 10 years? What an idiot. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.